No, we actually are going live. No, it just wasn't. I pressed record. I mean stream, and I wasn't ready. But we're here. We should be live already. Oh, the drama, the suspense. All right, what's up, guys? This is on Just Restart. This is a Nintendo podcast we do every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, which is Brandon's time. He's the guy who runs What About Nintendo. I just realized the entire camera's been on me, so
it is.
Let me fix that. There you go. You know something else?
See me.
You can now be seen.
Yay.
That's the guy. That's the... Yes, guys, there's really good news. Really good news. Brandon is getting married.
Yes, that's what's happening. For sure.
I could have taken that joke to another level, but I'm not gonna do it because I don't think you'd be prepared for it.
Oh,
it would have been bad. No, it would have been bad. It would have been really bad.
Now I'm curious.
Weird. It would have been weird. So,
now I don't want to know.
Yeah, you don't.
I kind of do, but I don't.
No. It was one of the things I was ready to take way too far. But your sister is actually getting married, so congratulations to her.
Yeah, the reason I even married tonight.
Yeah, tonight, like in an hour and a half, and you're supposed to be there. So you're flying to the Philippines very shortly.
Yes, I'm getting on the flight. Yep.
Yes, through the internet.
The flight of the internet.
In other words, guys, to stop beating around the bush, this podcast is going to be a little bit... I mean, I might stay afterwards. We'll see how the flow of... If you guys still want to, like, talk and stuff, well, I will stay for a little longer. But Brandon will be out by 10:30ish my time, 9:30ish your time, because he has to travel really quickly via watching the wedding through streaming services.
Take my local teleporter there, you know.
Exactly. This is the 21st century. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna talk about Brain Age Switch apparently coming to Nintendo Switch. That's not the official name. I don't know what the official name is. Just some sort of brain training game, Brain Age, that's coming. There is information suggesting that Sinnoh remakes may actually finally be happening. Not this year, of course, but maybe next year. Then we'll be talking about that Pokemon Ecology stream a little bit, because we're going to be getting a stream for about Sword and Shield this Friday. And then we're going to just kind of decide we're going to rank the Zelda games, because this is a slow news weekend. I feel like it would be a fun conversation to sort of actually pinpoint which Zelda games we think are the best and the worst. Obviously, the CDI games will not be a part of this. Just gonna say that. Besides that, we'll probably check with the chat in a moment. I'm just gonna, do the whole merch pitch thing. This is my new merch right here. This is the logo. I'm not gonna stand up, but what I'll do instead, I'll just show you the website. That's a less awkward way, because I already took pictures. But there is the merch site. Let me see how that looks on stream. Yeah, so the merch site is available, right? And there are photos. That's a woman's cut mock-up, because I haven't made any of those yet. But if you order it, that is there. So the shirt is available already. People have already ordered it. Some will be shipped tomorrow morning. There's still more. I will make more. That's how we have it set up. So check it out. The link to that is in the description below. So, without further delay, I'm going to end the stream now. Thanks for coming by, everyone. Now let's check in with the chat.
By for this very special merch plug stream.
That's what it was. That's all it was about. Absolutely. That's 100% all it was. No, I'm just kidding. So, hey there, Chris. What's up, man? Vooper, good evening. Vilbeard, what is up, bro? Monolith64, good day to you, sir. Super Toast Productions, heyo. Oh, Vilbeard's giving you some very sound advice. Don't get married like in Flubber.
Oh, I haven't seen Flubber in so long.
Yeah, me neither. So I remember Flubber, but I don't remember what happened. It had Robin Williams and it had a green Flubber dude. That's all I remember.
I haven't seen it since I was like 5.
Yeah.
So
might be worth rewatching.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Chris, for the plug. The link's in the description below on justrestart.square.site. That's how you will get to the site. Robeer, what's up, man? So, let's just kind of talk a little bit about Brain Age while everyone sort of files in. And, you know, I already talked about topics, so we know what we're talking about tonight. So, we're good there. We're ready to go. But, Brandon, so, you know, how do you feel about Brain Age coming to Nintendo Switch?
I think it's pretty cool. I used to play the DS game. Is this an actual Brain Age or just a game that's like Brain Age, but it's not actually called that?
I'm not certain because it was in Japanese and the Game Explained said Brain Age. My Nintendo, you said Brain Training.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
It'd probably be known as Brain Age over here, I'd imagine.
Maybe so. That makes sense. It has the same, you know, the character that looks like a little bit like Iwata. Like that big head. Yeah. That's still in the game. And it looks like Brain Age. It is Brain for all intents.
So even if Brain Age. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Brain Age, yeah. So and even if it's not by name, for all intents and purposes, it is Brain Age. But you know, I'm confused about the naming, I'm sure, but I feel like that is probably Brain Age. Anyway. It's coming.
Yeah, I used to play that on my DS Lite. It was great. I always like math puzzle games. Or just math games. Like I used to play, even as a kid, I used to play like Sudoku and stuff. Yeah. So this was something I found really enjoyable. I'm interested in how much I'd actually like it now if I bought it. But when I was a kid, I really liked Brain Age. Even though I wasn't that good at it because a lot of this stuff was like over my head because I was really young.
I have a condition. So... I need the mental assistance to keep my brain from just completely falling into oblivion.
Yeah, it's a great game for that. I think I might just buy it just to kind of stay in focus, stay constant, keep my brain.
No, I'm joking, but I'm being serious at the same time. Like it does actually help you to stay kind of more quick. Right, like your brain is kind of like a muscle. Doing exercises like that will get you better at processing and things of that nature. So definitely, for me, it is something that's kind of exciting for that, and it's just fun to play. Like it's fun. Like it's mini games, but with numbers and such. So I'm all about that. That's super cool. Like I kind of love that we're getting more of these, I guess, Wii DS era kind of games now, right? Like my issue during the Wii era is that it felt like a lot of that was taking precedent over the hardcore experiences, but now what's happening is we get all of the hardcore experiences and then afterwards they talk about these other things as side projects that you can also enjoy, because they're not talking about Brain Age during a Nintendo Direct. They didn't talk about Ring Fit Adventure during a Nintendo Direct. These were separate announcements outside of a Nintendo Direct. During the Direct, it's all about the games.
Nintendo Labo wasn't in a Direct either, I don't think.
No, it was not. Exactly. So I think Nintendo's being much smarter about it now. So that's something I can appreciate. But then again, I'm not trying to say I don't like these things. I love them. I want them. I plan on getting Ring Fit Adventure because I'm fat. I'm not actually fat, but more exercise the better. I'm dumb, so I need the number game to make myself able to add numbers. I need a word game so I can speak English someday. That'd be great too.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah, come on, Nintendo, get on it. But yeah, I'm really excited about these things, so I'm glad this is finally coming.
I actually was thinking about Brain Age the other day, just like, why do we not have a Brain Age? And then they got out, so that's kind of weird how that happened. But I actually have games on my phone that are specifically just like brain training games. They're just kind of puzzles and stuff. And I was wanting to get one that was sort of like Brain Age, but they're all like not good. Or they are all too much money. They're like microtransactions and stuff. I'm like, why? Yeah, why are there microtransactions in your puzzle game?
There's something that there's one thing I forgot to put in the topics. Oh my god, thank you for bringing up microtransactions. The perfect segue, because we need to talk about Mario Kart Tour. Yes, it's a surprise topic and actually a major one. I don't even just because it's a mobile game. I just don't care about it. It's just not important. Except I've been playing it a fair bit. As far as mobile games go, I kind of like it, even though there's some controversy surrounding that I also, I don't plan on investing any money into this game, but It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. So we're gonna jump into that in a moment. Just let me check in the chat what people sort of saying in relation to Brain Age. Fooper saying it's actual Brain Age. It has the same character. Okay. 764 Train Age. Ah, the game where you train your trains. How do we? Dr. Kawashima. Ah, that's the name of the character, right? Okay. Cool. 764. I hated to do anything with math. My experience with math is I used to be pretty good at doing the calculations of battle damage for Pokemon, and that was pretty much it, man. Like, or calculating the probabilities of like something happening and then in succession with another thing. So I was decent at that because of Pokemon, and ironically, there was a whole year in high school where I just played Pokemon in class. And my teacher was like pseudo okay with it. Like he was seeing me playing, he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, and I would just ask him, "What are you doing?" Because we wouldn't do anything in that math class. So that's kind of how it went. But I do enjoy math. I just haven't had great experiences with math classes. But I'm looking forward to it.
I've always been pretty good at math.
7 times 3, go. Hard. Come on, you have 6 seconds. 6,
21.
5. Okay, I should have given you like 2 seconds. You would have like gotten nervous. Let me see here. Words Up Academy 3DS. How do we? There's a lot of different little games on the DS. Wasn't there that Devilish mode game, the one with like the red version about I guess Dr. Kawashima?
Oh.
Yeah,
I do remember that. That was actually in a direct, I think.
I think so, but that was a different time for Nintendo.
Different time. It was a 3DS.
Brennan Stryker, hello there. 764 saying Mario Kart Tour kind of got boring for me. LOL, mobile games aren't for me, honestly. Well, I mean, I think I'm kind of there with you, but this mobile game might be one I might still play a little bit. So, Haruhi saying Dr. Kawashima's Devilish Training. Thank you for remembering these names. I appreciate it. So, yeah, but I played that one a little bit. I don't think I bought it. I think I had like a demo for it or something on the 3DS, and it was really, really cool. Lazy James, what's up? Mastermind, hello there. What was I gonna say? Lazy James, just want to let you know, the shirt will be shipped soon. Yeah. So, I think everyone who ordered the shirts like this weekend will probably have them by the end of the week. Yeah. So, it's gonna be good. Hopefully you guys like it. But anyway, let's kind of just jump into the Mario Kart Tour stuff, right? Because I think that's kind of like the more pressing thing here. Not to mention we are on a time crunch. I'm trying to get through all the topics before Brandon leaves us so he can get married. So his sister can get married. So, I kind of I like the game. Like I was complaining about it on Discord earlier this week because the turning is ass, and I still feel that way. I have not changed my mind on that. I've gotten better at it, but it's still trash. Like it just doesn't feel right to like move around. Like I'm not saying you can't make it work. You can make it work, but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel intuitive to me. Like I wish there was a way that you could do mild turning and drifting, but it's just one or the other, and you can make it work with the just manual drifting because you could just do really soft like little tilts, and it does kind of do the same thing as if you were just doing a small minor steering in an actual Mario Kart game, but it's just not as accurate or as fluid, and it requires like a fair bit of precision. Not to mention, maybe it's just because my thumb is too big or my phone is too small, but if I want to look back, like, who was Mary? I just got some random email saying, I don't know, it's weird. Anyway. Probably spam, yeah. Anyway, like, if you press you press the 180 button to look behind you, oftentimes I press that and I use my item instead, or vice versa. And it's probably just because I suck with, my thumb doesn't, I don't know. It's not perfect. It just doesn't feel as good as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best Mario Kart. And I want to say the Mario Kart Tour, in terms of controls, is the worst Mario Kart, right? But a bad Mario Kart is still a good game, if that makes sense. Because as far as mobile games go,
I can't say because I haven't played every Mario Kart, but I don't
don't love the original Mario Kart.
I feel like
I didn't play that much of it though.
I've heard if you go back and replay Mario Kart 64, it controls really badly, or it just isn't that fun compared to the other ones.
You take that back.
You
take that back.
Say that.
No, you take that back. I don't care who said it. You take that back.
I don't know. I haven't replayed it. I want to. Because I want to prove them wrong.
The last time I played Mario Kart 64 was probably at some random college party, and that was like 5-6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's been a while since I played that specific version.
For me, the controls are fine. I haven't really had that many issues, except the fact that there's every once in a while I want to just turn slightly, and you can't just turn. That does bug me, but it's not so bad that I thought the controls were terrible. I actually thought the drifting felt really good and intuitive. It just kind of feels like using the left stick on Mario Kart Deluxe to drift. Obviously, it's... Actually, no, I would say the physics feel almost exactly the same to me. Honestly, the only part I don't like about the controls is that you can't just steer normally, which apparently you can if you use the gyro. I haven't tried this. I've been told on Discord that if you use the gyro, you can turn slightly with the gyro and then drift with your finger.
So that's something I should try, because admittedly I have not messed with the options at all. So that's something to consider. But even, taking the turning mechanics out of the equation, like, don't take it out of the equation, just even with the problems I have with the controls, I still am enjoying the game. I still think it's fun. I think in terms of how the game looks, it's cool.
I like the art style.
Yeah, there's not too many new tracks, so most of them are just remade tracks, which I don't have a problem with because this is a free mobile game. Right?
And a lot of the remade tracks aren't in Mario Kart 8, so that's nice.
No, they're not. It's like remakes of all tracks from previous games that I would have loved to have seen in DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Koopa Troopa Beach, I remember that.
In fact, the tracks we're seeing in...
Nostalgia.
The tracks we're seeing in Mario Kart Tour are the tracks I would have wanted to see DLC for in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I didn't have them, but
mad at Mario Kart Tour.
Pauline's in the game, right? Which is cool, I guess.
But not Luigi. Luigi's not in the game.
If you watch the actual trailers, Luigi is in the game, but apparently just not available now to pick. It's so weird, because the launch trailer, like, I'm pretty sure, I checked. Maybe it wasn't a launch trailer, but there was a trailer for Mario Kart Tour, and Luigi was one of the prominent characters, not just in the art, but the actual gameplay. Luigi was there. So something happened where he's like, you know what, let's just take this guy completely out of the game. But what's also weird is that it's really hard to get Mario. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know why Mario is... I forget which rarity Mario is, but he's not standard. I think he's the second.
There's three different Marios.
There's three?
At least three. There's Metal Mario, there's Concert Musician Mario, the one that basically
that one is like really hard to get.
And then there's normal Mario, which apparently, I don't know how hard is it to get, but it's not easy. So yeah, all these, I think it's like a 1% chance or something to get like a character like just normal Mario. It's hard. And I'm not paying any money for this, so my chances are slim pickings. There's not that too many opportunities to get this. So yeah, the game is fun. Like, if I have nothing to do and I don't bring my Switch with me, which is often because I just don't want to take my Switch everywhere I go, right? I'll probably.
That's why you gotta get a Switch Lite so you can bring it everywhere you go.
But I wish there was a more seamless way to transition like save files and stuff. If so, then maybe I would. I know you can transfer save data and game files, but from what I've seen, it's not like instantaneous. It's not like pulling the Switch out of the dock easy, I still take my Switch with me to places. I just don't take it everywhere, right? but I have my phone everywhere, so you know I can do that, and you can do it with one hand. So while I am complaining about the controls, it is all with one hand, so that's something to consider. But I do have challenge. I do find like challenge with the game, like just kind of trying to get 5 stars for every cup has been challenging. Some of them are kind of ridiculous. Like even though if I get first place by a long shot, I still need like 1,000 more points. I'm like, what the hell can I do? So like my only option is to like
do tricks,
shortcuts, get bombs, and blow up like 5 people to get a ton of points.
Get a ton of airtime.
Yeah, but what if there is no airtime?
Yeah.
Like there's like the Yoshi circuit. The Yoshi circuit is one I struggled with. Like I could always get first on that track, but I needed like 1,000 more points to win. You know, to get all the stars. So I just needed to get like an insane amount of like trick points in order to do it. Like just drifting and getting all the coins was not enough. Which is also hard to do with the turning. It's really hard to get all the coins. That is not easy to do. How do you feel about getting coins?
I honestly am not to a point in the game where the score is so high that I've needed to do much extra. Like I don't usually have to replay them as long as I get first. I just get 5 stars.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I'd have to play it a bit more to get to where it's a bit harder.
Let me see how far I am. Let's compare.
I am not far at all.
I feel like I probably played more than you. That's just my gut.
I played it on launch day. That's all.
Okay, then unless you played for like 6 hours, I played more than you.
No, not even close. Where is it on my phone?
I'm opening it up now.
Oh, I found it.
I've done. Ooh, a gift. All right, I'm not gonna play our podcast, guys. I'm just checking where I was at.
Just start playing Mario Kart.
Oh, I'll just do this instead. So I'm in the Dry Bones Cup. All right, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done that 6 cups.
I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 cups. What? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 cups.
So I'm gonna.
Have you only done?
Maybe I've just focused on getting all 5 stars. I don't know, or maybe I'm just trash.
You are 1, 2, 3 cups ahead of me.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm in the Dry Bones one.
Yeah, you're actually not that far ahead of me. I'm surprised.
Yeah. Well, there's some other extra stuff you can do as well, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But let me check on the chat here. 764 says, I hate how the game controls. It kind of gives me hand cramps. I can see how that could happen, for sure.
I haven't had that issue.
Mastermind saying, good thing I didn't down. I think it's worth trying Mastermind.
Free.
Yeah, it's free. It's not going to hurt you to try it out. As a Mario Kart fan, which I am, like just kind of seeing the game, playing the game, hearing the music, doing the races, I kind of get like those Mario Kart vibes. It does feel like Mario Kart. It doesn't feel like I'm not playing Mario Kart. It does feel like Mario Kart, just maybe not the best Mario Kart, but still Mario Kart. So I'm enjoying it. I kind of wish there was like maybe sort of like a mission or story mode in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe so I could play that instead. But it's good. You should try it. It's free. It does not hurt you unless it costs you data or something. But use Wi-Fi. Alexander Christopher Hernandez, how you doing? Talking about mobile games, I'm glad you saw the tweet I tagged you in about Dragalia making it to the crossover we all love. Recently, I've seen more people wanting it too. So, Drew, the name's Dragalia Lost, right? I haven't played it in a while. So, that game has beautiful music. If there is a mobile game that ever gets represented, it would have to be Dragalia Lost, because that is actually a Nintendo franchise, so I could see that happening. Maybe. Of all the mobile games that could ever get, happen, and that's the one I could maybe see get represented in Smash Brothers. So, I wouldn't be entirely against it. Especially, the whole dragon mechanic building up the ability to transform, that'd be pretty cool to see. Which Alexander pointed out in his tweet to me. Just check out Twitter, you'll see it there on my feed or his.
Okay.
How do we is asking Mario Kart 9 when? That's a good question.
Never.
Well, at this point I can say there's not going to be any Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Nothing, maybe like a couple free updates, but there's not going to be like a paid DLC situation. I don't think so. I think that's at this point just make a new game. But will that game come for the Nintendo Switch? I don't know. It's hard to say. I think they could. I think they could if they were to launch a Mario Kart 9 next year, it would still sell millions. But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling well.
Yeah.
Like, it's still selling. So I wonder if they'll prefer, if Nintendo's probably just using their teams to focus on something else that hasn't been made yet. Like F-Zero, or Wave Race, or Punch-Out, or Kid Icarus, or Star Tropics.
All good options.
Yeah, especially Star Tropics. Or maybe an Earthbound remake.
Never played that game.
There's a lot of games that Nintendo, or I don't know, Chibi Robo, or Custom Robo. Like, there's games, man. There are Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Cubivore, just guys. Okay. I'm gonna stop with the really obscure ones. I'm gonna stop. But like, the
Wars series. They haven't done anything with that. So
no, that's right. Funny random fact. So there's Advanced Wars, right? As you mentioned. But there was like a spin-off version of it called Battalion Wars on the Wii, and it looked really cool. It was like a 3D version of it. But I was an idiot. Still am. But I was more of an idiot then, and I thought it was pronounced Battalion.
Battalion?
Yes. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, I know.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty bad. I don't know how. I really don't. It's because back then nothing was in HD, so I just couldn't see the text clearly. That's what it was.
That's your excuse.
That's my excuse. I'm gonna stick
there
with it.
Go.
Lazy James, yeah, I was wishing the drifting was better. I hate how you can't turn with the power drifting on. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I wish there was a way to do both at the same time, but there isn't. Although, maybe that gyro thing you suggested is a way to check it out.
I need to try that and see if it works good.
Perhaps.
Maybe if it works good, I'll make a video on it and be like, hey guys, here's how Mario Kart Tour doesn't suck on controls.
64 Mario Kart Double Dash for the win. We should do a Mario Kart ranking podcast at some point when Mario Kart 9 comes. Maybe sooner, because that might be a while before then.
It's like a lot of them I haven't played, actually.
Lazy James is saying he found the tracks to be refreshing.
I thought they were really good.
No, yeah, I think
the new ones. I thought the turning picks were really good.
Yeah, it's fun to just play through it. As a Mario Kart fan, I just like seeing the tracks. It's cool. Like, it's more Mario Kart. So I am still enjoying it. Status64, he's asking, do you think this will lead up to Mario Kart 9? I wish. At this point, I kind of want it because I don't think any DLC is coming.
Yeah.
But
I don't see Mario Kart 9 for another couple of years, to be honest.
Mainly just because there's not any need for it, right?
Yeah.
There's not a need for it. See, the funny thing is that with back in the DS, back when Nintendo used to just have two consoles, a handheld and a home console, they were able to create two Mario Kart games within the span of 5 years. Like, that would always happen, right? Now, there isn't that need for it. The only issue is that the Mario Kart for the Switch is just an enhanced Mario Kart of a Mario Kart that was from the Wii U, and that came out back in 2014. We're in 2019 now.
A while.
So it's one of those things where not only is the Mario Kart on Switch a Mario Kart from a previous system just enhanced, but now there's no longer two Mario Karts per generation because there's only one system. So if there's no other Mario Kart on Switch, I think the hunger for Mario Kart is only going to become more and more ravenous. So because of that, I think maybe just considering the demand from that perspective, maybe Nintendo should make a Mario Kart 9 within a couple of years from now.
I definitely think they should, because even though Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling still, like, imagine how much a new Mario Kart would sell. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Tour, Mario Kart Tour, not Mario Kart 8 Tour, but Mario Kart Tour actually got, I think, 20 million downloads the first day, which is like a new record. Like, it beat out Pokemon Go for downloads in the first day. Like,
You know,
ridiculous.
there is another alternative, though. What if instead of getting a new Mario Kart game, we get a new Diddy Kong Racing?
That'd be cool. I mean, I made a video the other day about 5 games that should get remade, and that was one of them, but a new one.
Right, and if you consider the relationship between Nintendo, Microsoft, and Rare now, and technically Microsoft actually allowed Rare to develop a Diddy Kong Racing DS, so that happened. They did take out Banjo and Conquer, though, for that version, I believe.
Didn't have the...
But I could see maybe a new Diddy Kong Racing being made, and Microsoft might not care. Especially now with the Banjos and Smash Bros. Maybe they could bring back at least Banjo. Maybe a couple other Rare characters. Maybe throw in a few more Nintendo characters, and it would be Diddy Kong Racing. Or maybe even... They don't even call it Diddy Kong Racing. Maybe it's some sort of crossover. What if it's like... You know, kind of how like they have like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. What if they do like a kart racing crossover? That'd be neat to see. And to make things even weirder, or perhaps even more interesting, Sega has his own, Sonic has his own series of kart racing, right? And I believe there was one that had Banjo in it when it was on an Xbox. Really? So, what if we see a situation where there's a Mario and Sonic crossover kart racer, but it also has Diddy Kong Racing elements, including Diddy Kong himself, including Banjo in there, maybe even throwing Conker. It'll be like the ultimate mashup of kart racing glory.
That could actually be really cool.
And that could be kind of like a fun alternative. And since we may not be seeing a Mario Kart 9 on the Switch, like I think that's something that we could get that maybe Nintendo or Sega or Microsoft. I realize this is kind of like a pipe dream seeing all these different companies work together. Yeah. But how much...
I wonder if Nintendo would choose something other than Mario, just because...
Well, Diddy Kong. I don't know. It could be all about furry creatures. Sonic is an animal, right? So it could be like a Diddy and Sonic crossover. I don't know. Just give us Diddy Kong Racing. There you go. Let's simplify it. Diddy Kong Racing. Screw Sega. Sorry, Sega. Diddy Kong Racing, but bring in Banjo. And this time Kazooie is there too. Somehow.
Yeah. I would enjoy it. Although, I actually did much prefer Mario Kart 64 to Diddy Kong Racing back in the day.
Right, but this will be a new Diddy Kong Racing with a different engine. Yeah. So... And in your video, you did point out how Diddy Kong Racing had some really interesting elements because you could actually fly, not just glide. You could actually fly, right? And you could actually, like in Mario Kart 8, yes, you can glide in the air and you can go underwater, but it's not like the mechanics underwater change dramatically. Like your weight does change a little bit, but it's not like in Diddy Kong Racing where your car transforms entirely and you are a aquatic craft, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a little different, and obviously you literally fly as well. So it'd be interesting if we can go back to that formula for a new Diddy Kong Racing. That's something I'd really like to see. Will it happen? I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling really well. So I just don't see, like, from a business perspective, I don't know if Nintendo's gonna be like, hey, we should have a new Mario Kart. But we already have a Mario Kart, and like just pure business perspective, there isn't like a need for it. But because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just an enhanced port of an older Mario Kart, and there aren't two Mario Karts coming out this generation because there's just one system for this generation, I can see how there would be even more demand for a Mario Kart. So maybe not. It's hard to say for sure. I'm gonna say 50-50.
Yeah, and I would say like a Mario Kart 9, even though Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling, like that would sell so good. It would probably, it would definitely outsell Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and then keep going, because...
You think it would outsell Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
Oh yeah, and a new Mario Kart game, it would outsell Mario Kart.
The other thing though is that let's just assume that Mario Kart 9 does happen, right? We're not sure, but say it does happen. Following up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is going to be tough. Because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, in my opinion, is the best Mario Kart game. It's the best Mario Kart game of all time. That game, even the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8 came out in 2014, and just like graphically speaking at least, that game looks really good. It still holds up really, really well. And obviously on the Switch it looks a bit better because they fixed the frame rate issue, which was very subtle, but still was there. And now it's in 1080p versus 720. So just minor upgrades there, but that does help it to just really stand out and just look gorgeous. The game still looks amazing years later. Just graphically, I think it is the best looking Mario Kart game ever. Like, normally Mario Kart games, when they come out, they're not like considered to be, oh my god, this is like the showstopper. But Mario Kart 8 was arguably the best looking Wii U game, you know, when it came out.
Yeah, definitely one of them. Yeah.
So like, just from a graphical perspective, Mario Kart was on another level. And in terms of the racing mechanics, I think most people would agree that the racing mechanics are also very, very solid. A lot more solid than Wii, for example, which I did like personally. But you know, there's that, and just had DLC. It had a lot more content. So you know, it'll be hard to sort of follow up Mario Kart 8. I think you have to eventually. I just wonder what they can do to make it stand out.
I think one of the things they definitely would need to do is some kind of mission mode or campaign mode or story mode or whatever you want to call it. Some kind of adventure mode needs to happen. That's definitely something that would put it up above that of the previous games. They could make a ton of cool stages. I definitely think a Mario Odyssey stage would be awesome to see.
Yeah.
Couple of them even. So I think there's things they can do with new stages.
Even with a new Mario game, there's a whole bunch of new lore there to just completely create a whole bunch of new tracks.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if they continue the trend of like bringing in a few other Nintendo characters in there, that offers obviously more worlds as well.
Right.
Although I do appreciate the idea of just using DLC to do that. Really, like, because then it's still Mario Kart. Then, right? Like, if you just start putting, it starts becoming Nintendo Kart or Smash Kart. You know?
I would love Nintendo Kart. Honestly, if they just wanted to just turn it into Nintendo Kart, dude, I'd be down for it. I'd be so happy.
Yeah, maybe that's kind of, that's not too much of a stretch from what we were talking about earlier about Diddy Kong Racing with Banjo. You know, what if it is sort of, maybe that's how they can sort of get around not problem, but just like being different enough for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? With an adventure mode, more akin to what we saw in Diddy Kong Racing. That'd be really awesome to see. We still have other stuff to talk about though, so I'm going to get to the chat and then we'll move on. Unless there's anything else you want to sort of say in regards to that.
No, I think we went pretty in depth there.
Okay, cool. Lazy James saying in relation to Mario Kart 9, sometimes I get more points not coming in first because you can use items on people and get combos more easily. Yeah, just kind of staying in the crowd might be sort of like the way to get all the stars.
It's the meta.
But at the same time, if you don't get first, you'll lose. That's a lot of points you're missing out on, though. That's, at least for me, it's 2,700 points. That's a lot. So
you can hope to stay in the back and then hit a bunch of people with items and still get first.
Yeah, you can. It's kind of like that balance, you know, of how far back you should go. And obviously there's a luck element. You don't know who's going to screw you over with 3 blue shells.
For real.
I don't know if I've ever gone 3 blue shells, but I've gone at least twice in a Mario Kart game. A few times.
And then red shells on top of that.
And lightning.
Like, no. Oh, God.
That's happened.
Yeah.
Professor Oak, he's asking, what is your opinion on the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess? Well, we will be touching on the Zeldas really soon, actually, because I know we're on a time crunch here, so we're going to kind of run through the Pokemon stuff. But, what was I going to say? I think, the Twilight Princess was like Twilight Princess was the most hyped Zelda for me ever, because I was a kid then, so I had never been that big a part of the hype cycle or lead up to a Zelda game. And when we saw that trailer in 2004, and I think they used, I don't know, I know the older Ocarina of Time trailer used like Conan the Barbarian music, but they really played off like this whole Lord of the Rings vibe. And I was super into Lord of the Rings at the time then, right? Especially because I was kind of fresh off the trilogy. And I was a kid. And as a kid, you're just way more easily influenced, right? You're just way more easily impressed by everything. And you're also innocent and naive, and you're unaware of things like delays and overhyping and advertising and things of that nature. So all of this sort of contributed to like this huge magical allure and aura for Twilight Princess. There came a point where I was having an argument with a stepmom because she didn't like me playing video games. It came a point where we had an argument. I was like, look, if there's only one game I could ever play, it needs to be this game, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. If I play this game, my life will be complete. That's how hyped I was for Twilight Princess. So when we finally got Twilight Princess, and I got it for the Wii, launch day, it was amazing. That's another story though. It was amazing, right? Like, but I didn't want to start the game until, like, I played Excite Truck and Wii Sports for a while with my family and stuff. Like, I didn't want to start Twilight Princess until I knew that I had alone time, no one would bother me, no one would interrupt me. I just wanted to have the ultimate experience. I wanted to make sure everything was right, and I was trying to get like a better cable so I could run the game with better graphics, like, you know, 480p, as opposed to, I was trying to get component cables. So,
Right.
anyways, like, I did all that to make sure I have the best looking game possible, best running game possible, and eventually I played it, and it was just amazing, man. Like, just, I really love Twilight Princess, and when I finally beat it, I cried. And it was magical. It was a magical experience. But, to be honest, going back to the game afterwards, I think the game struggles with pacing. And as epic as the boss designs are in Twilight Princess, because I think it might have some of the best boss designs in any Zelda game,
Yeah.
they're way too easy for how giant and scary they are. They need to be able to kill you. Like, the giant lava golem, right? Like, he looks like he could destroy you 1,000 times over, but he just whacks you, and it's like you're actually just fighting like a puppy, right? Like, I wish the game was harder, and I wish the game had better pacing. But otherwise, Twilight Princess is an incredible Zelda game, and we'll get more on that in a bit. I do want to run through the topics before Brandon leaves. So, I mean, unless you have anything to add to that, Brandon, before we...
I will, but I'll just wait for the...
For the ranking?
We talk about, yeah.
Cool. Brandon Stryker, yeah. My Mario Kart 9, you know, we went on about different possibilities, but if that happens, I'll be hyped for it. Mastermind. I've been playing a lot of I know you love Grand Blue Fantasy. And so far I'm having fun with the game. Funny that both Grand Blue and Xenoblade 2 has some things in common. Really? I need to learn more about it. Shadow of Next is saying Mario Kart Tour is trash. Oh. I mean, I'm not, it's
okay.
I don't love mobile games, so even though I've enjoyed the game, I don't really feel compelled to defend it. It's just the gotcha mechanics are pissing people off.
One thing I will say is the microtransactions are annoying, and it's kind of dumb that you can't get the characters you want, but I've never ever been like, man, I can't progress because I need something from the microtransactions.
Yeah.
Like, that is a legit major issue I have with every other racing game on cell phones. All, like, the Asphalt games, every single one of those. If you don't have microtransactions, or if you don't play the same race like 30 times to get enough money to upgrade your car, you can't win. Like, you're just not gonna win.
Yeah, you can still win with what you get. And you are getting stuff, just a lot more slowly. So it's designed in a way to pressure you to want to get the stuff, which is all part of the business. I don't plan on spending any money. I just will have to just decide that, hey, I'm just going to play with Peach and Toad for most of the game. Like, that's it. That's what I got. So, you know.
I don't even have either of those characters.
Who do you have? I have 3 characters.
I have Toadette, Bowser, Koopa Troopa, maybe somebody else.
I think I have Dry Bones, Toad, and Peach.
Oh, I do have Dry Bones because I pulled him twice.
Yeah.
In a row.
That's all I have.
Pissed me off.
Yeah. So you have 4 characters.
Yeah.
I only have 1. I mean 3. There was just 1 in my head. Yeah. Computer robots, hello there. Insert cool name. I got the Apple Arcade membership and was pleasantly surprised by this one game called Ocean Horn 2. It's pretty similar to The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, that one's more like Wind Waker. The original was like a
Okay.
2D Zelda game.
That is interesting. I want to check that
I
out.
really want to try it because I liked the demo for the first one. I never played it all the way through, but this one looks more like a 3D Zelda game instead of 2D, so more interested in it. Although I do love 2D Zelda games.
Yeah,
just
no, I
wasn't
mean,
a
we're
real
going to
2D
talk
Zelda
about
game,
some of
so-
that in a minute. Maybe more like 5-10 minutes, but Matt the Gaming Man, apparently people found a reference of Mario Strikers in a trailer for Luigi's Mansion 3. It could just be a reference because Luigi's Mansion 3 and Mario Strikers game were made by the same people. That's I think it's that. That's probably what it is.
Probably.
But sometimes it could be a tease. Hey, and I think a Strikers game should happen someday. My only problem, not my problem, just my one, I guess, when I have the hope for it, the thing that sort of combats that hope is that Mario and Sonic at the Olympics is, like, hasn't come out yet. Like, it's coming out soon.
It's coming out this year,
Yeah, it's coming out this year. And that has
Like
a soccer
November,
portion in
December.
it, right? And it's a sports game. Like, Mario Strikers could come out next year, but I just wonder if, like, you know, like, maybe they wouldn't decide to develop a Mario Strikers immediately after Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. But
maybe. I don't know, but it kind of has a lot of sports, though.
it is. And I mean, the soccer portion really is just kind of more like a mini game. Like, the Strikers thing is kind of like, that is what it is. The soccer is the game. So, you know, in my opinion, it's the best Mario sports series, so I do hope it makes a comeback.
It's the only one I, like, really like. Like, the other ones, I think they're okay. Like, Mario Strikers,
They're
I
all
actually
okay.
really enjoy.
Yeah, okay is the right word I would use. Strikers is great. Absolutely, I agree with that. So, I mean, I feel like it's got to happen someday. I just don't know when.
Yeah, eventually. It's been, I forget how many years, like 11 years or something since the last one.
Oh my
I think
God.
It was more than that.
How do we just
I made
brought
a
up...
video recently and I had to look it up, so...
How do we just brought up Kirby Air Ride? I would love to see a new Kirby Air Ride. That'd be sick.
I never played that, but I've heard really good things about it from everybody who's played it.
How do we also just brought up Smash Kart Racing starring Joker from Persona 5?
I don't know if I necessarily want Smash Kart, because I don't know if I want... I don't know if I need third-party characters in the kart racing, but Nintendo Kart, that's what I want.
Computer Robot just asked, what about a Mario Party mobile game? That's interesting.
That could work actually pretty well, considering how simple, you know, the game is.
What if, you know what would be really interesting? I don't know. So you know those party games that you can log into a website and do like trivia? What if they did something like that with Mario Party Mobile?
Like Jackbox?
Yes,
stuff?
like Jackbox.
That could be really cool.
I don't know how they could pull it off by actually doing like real-time mini games without, because those are trivia questions, not like real-time mini games. Like this, it's a big difference. But if they could do something with that, I think it'd be really interesting to see.
That'd be cool.
Maybe at least like that's where they could like tell the scores and stuff. People play the mini games themselves on the phones, but like the website, which is on the television, that's where people like, you know, you could see the scores, they could keep a tally, you could show the board, things like that. I think there's something there. Maybe. I guess at the same time, though, there would be the issue of, okay, where do you... Like, normally Jackbox is something you buy for a system, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that could be like its own mobile app as well. There's a lot of things that they'd have to sift through to figure that out. But I think there's something there that can maybe make Mario Party Mobile more interesting.
Perhaps.
Jordan Dropout, Smash Kart is a dream of mine, but if we don't at least get Captain Falcon the next Mario Kart, I'm gonna explode. How about let's just get F-Zero?
No, he's not in.
Let's just get F-Zero. Give us an F-Zero, a real F-Zero. Don't make Mario Kart 9, make F-Zero. Although I don't know if the Mario Kart team should make F-Zero. I kind of want a different team to make F-Zero. I want a team that's good at making like really fast stuff. Like, which is why I think when Sega had a handle on F-Zero GX, they did a great job, because you know what Sega works on? Sonic. Like they're good at delivering that sense of speed. So I don't know. Although the Mario Kart team has done a great job recently, so maybe they could pull off an F-Zero. Yeah. But let's jump into the next topic. So Mario Kart Tour is trash. Just kidding, it's fun, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the gacha mechanics, and I do wish it turned out a little better. But there is reason to believe, my friends, that Sinnoh remakes may actually finally be happening. Now, why am I saying this? Because recently we got some information that merchandising for Sinnoh in Generation 4 will be coming out next year, starting as early as December, which is technically this year. And normally, with Pokemon, if you pay attention to the way the merchandising works, it usually lines up with what's going to happen for the game that year. So, for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, what happened? Well, we got a whole bunch of Pikachus and Eevees, right? And there's a lot more of a Kanto focus, and we got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee as the games. Mm-hmm. And for Sword and Shield, I can't really speak to that, but I do remember a lot of people bringing up the whole, like, Great Britain element. There was, like, some advertising suggesting that, and, you know, the Sword and Shield sort of based off that area. So, you know, there's something to this idea. And there's a lot, and if it's literally like generation, not even just like a region, but like generation, like, you know, from real life, but an actual like Generation 4 Pokemon merchandising, and it's like sort of like this big thing throughout the year, yeah, I would think that could be highly suggestive of Sinnoh remakes.
Yeah.
And they gotta happen eventually, right? So, hey, hey, I'm all for it, man. Pokemon Pearl was one of my favorite Pokemon games, save for Generation 2 Pokemon games, Soul Silver and Heart Gold and Silver and Gold. So I'd love to see that, and it could be a little faster paced this time around, because that was one of the common complaints for Generation 4 that was too slow paced. So you fix that with Sword and Shield graphics, maybe a little bit better, probably a little bit better. That could be sick. Will it be though? Or would it be kind of more like, let's go Chimchar and Piplup? Yeah, it's probably going to be that.
I feel like if they were going to do Let's Go stuff, that they would have done Johto.
Yeah, and I would have thought that too. But
I feel like they're going more on the previous remake.
But don't you feel... And obviously we haven't gone Sword and Shield yet, but don't you feel like it would be hard to pull off Sword and Shield graphics with Sinnoh just a year later?
Right. I don't think it will be Sword and Shield graphics, but I don't know if it will be Let's Go graphics either. I don't know, man. I imagine it would still...
Oh, God.
I imagine it'd be more of a Let's Go style in terms of, like, gameplay and camera. But maybe it will. Well,
not you just mean like not chibi art style.
Right, not in terms of style, but in terms of, like, you know, it being like more of a top down.
Yeah, like, you know, it'll be 3D, but it'll be more top down.
Right, but I don't necessarily think it will have the Let's Go, you know, chibi art style or whatever.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. Because I have a hard time believing that they're gonna create another Pokemon game just a year later that's like Sword and Shield with...
No, yeah.
Like, I know people are... So. I know a lot of people aren't really excited about Sword and Shield, but that game has a lot of big open environments with a fairly dense towns and things of that nature from what we've seen. It's hard for me to imagine that they could redo all of Sinnoh just like Sword and Shield a year later. So
yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Really, what I would prefer is if they waited another year, then gave us Sinnoh remakes in the vein of Sword and Shield graphics. Like, that would be better. I don't want to play Sinnoh next year. You know what I'm gonna be playing instead? Breath of the Wild 2 and Super Mario Odyssey 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and Animal Crossing and Bayonetta 3. Those are the games I'm playing next year. I don't think I'm gonna need another Pokemon game, especially if this one's a big deal. Right, so
I was really hoping they would take a year off.
Idea. You ready for this? It will not be... Okay, this is not a prediction. It's more like it's just speculation. But I think there's some reason to think it could happen. What if instead of it being like a full-on release, it's just an expansion to Sinnoh region in Sword and Shield?
Okay. I think it could be cool, but I don't really see that happening.
Well, think about the battle like this. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, big game, big RPG with open areas. They created Torna in months, not even a year. Like it was like half a year. Torna took half a year. So if you give,
they made all of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in like 2 years. So.
Right. Well, my point is that Torna was several new big areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's like a DLC expansion that comes out like a year later, or like something like that, maybe they could do that.
Right. I don't think it's impossible that they could do it. Like I think they could get it done. I just don't know why they would do that specifically. I just don't see the connection there. I mean, they could. It'd be cool. It just seems a little random. And people have been begging for a remake of this game. People.
Well, you were able to buy the Torna expansion separately anyway.
Right.
So it can still be treated as an individual release, but it is, just straight up Sword and Shield, but a different region.
Right, but it's still a lot different than a remake of, Gen 4 would be.
Would it though?
It's not gonna have like the same story and everything, I assume.
Oh, yeah, because if it's DLC, you'd be, it wouldn't be like a second save file starting from scratch. Oh, they could. It would be something building upon what was already done. I see what you mean. They can still do that though. It doesn't have to be a complete restart. Although people might want a remake. So.
Yeah, people definitely want a remake.
Yeah, I'm personally not gonna like it. Is if we get Sinnoh remakes next year and it's just, kind of like backtracking. I don't want them to backtrack. That I have a problem with. I'd rather wait 2 years. That's my thing. Or maybe the merchandising. Maybe, because at the end is a rumor, right? So even though we may be getting like Generation 4 merchandising, what could be happening is that it's not that we're just getting Generation 4 merchandising. We're getting merchandising for other generations as well, because Brandon, as you pointed out, the new Pokemon anime was already announced and teased. We saw a poster with Ash and his new friend. Some people think it's a girl, but it is a boy. But he has like little red things in his hair. And they have a poster of them going around the world with all the different regions, right? So if you're going to be going through all the different regions, yeah, you're going to have merchandising for the different regions. So maybe the reason why this rumor sort of like catching fire is because someone saw merchandising for just Generation 4, but maybe there's merchandising coming for the different regions. So this is really just an anime thing and not so much a, hey, Sinnoh remakes are coming out next year. Because I do want Sinnoh remakes. I just don't want it to be, like Sun and Moon in HD. I want it to be, I don't want them to go back. I want them to keep moving forward. So that'll be annoying to me.
I don't necessarily think a remake needs to be on the scale of Sword and Shield. Like, I don't think they need to remake the environments or add like a wild area or anything like that. Honestly, we just got Link's Awakening, which is basically the same game in terms of gameplay.
That game came out in 1993.
Right. It's just like got some new and improved.
I get what you're saying.
Quality of life.
I get it.
I'm fine with those. Like, I love those kind of remakes. I wouldn't, as long as it's like, like Link's Awakening looks really nice. Like, maybe. I don't think.
Okay, you're warming me up to the idea of it. You're warming me up to the idea of Sinnoh just being a straight up like HD remake of the same gameplay style from Pearl, Diamond, and Platinum. Just some quality of life changes. I guess. But you look at like Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, that was basically X and Y, just set in Generation 3, right? Mm-hmm. So it would be weird if they didn't do that for Generation 8.
Right. I definitely think the graphics would be better than Let's Go. For sure, mm-hmm. I would hope. But I'm not saying the graphics can't be as good as Sword and Shield. I'm just wondering if they'll do things like the fully controllable camera and, all kinds of stuff like that. Like, it might be the same kind of scale as the original game, but with, graphics that match.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But again, I know we don't normally go for only an hour and a half, so I'm just finding that like we don't have enough time to talk about everything. So I'm just trying to go through here, but I'm checking out the chat real quick, seeing some different things. Shadow of Nexus, your brother got Pauline first try. Lucky.
That's ridiculous.
Jordan Dropout saying, please no Let's Go Sinnoh. Yeah, if it's Sinnoh Remix, just not Let's Go style. I wouldn't love that. Cake Man, make the underground online. Now that's a really good idea, actually. So in Pearl and Diamond and Platinum, there's a whole underground area. You can go underground in Sinnoh and like mine for diamonds and jewels and get stuff, and you could do local multiplayer and play with other people. So if they made that whole portion online, we could explore. Like it could be kind of like an online map. We're interacting with other people, maybe even challenging the trades and battles and things like that with multiple people in there. That'd be really cool to see. I think that's a great idea. Brandon Stallion, yeah, to me. Honors, I think a Sinnoh Remix come out next year is because they were working on it alongside Sword and Shield. That's how it was for X and Y and Oris, so why not do that again? You know what, Brandon Stallion? That's another wonderful point. You may be right. Maybe then it could still be Sword and Shield style in terms of gameplay. Maybe they could throw another wild area. Maybe, and combine that with Cakeman's idea of making the underground online, that could still be really cool. So maybe I'm just underestimating what they've been developing alongside Sword and Shield. That could be the case. I mean, if you're reusing the same engine, you know, it's not that much more work to get it done a year later, assuming that you've already had plans, even working on it alongside of it, you know, already.
Personally, I would really hope that they start taking a break and make like another Pokemon game that's like really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm optimistic about Sword and Shield, as I've said many times in a lot of my videos in the podcast, but I'm right there with you. I've said that as well. I want them to take breaks. The issue with that is that they make a game pretty much every year now, and every time the game sells at least 10 million. At least. So if you're selling 10 million each time, why take a break for 2 to 3 years if you're just going to end up selling maybe, what, 20 million? If you can sell, so let's say you make a game every year for 3 years, that's 10 million each time, right? That's 30 million. That's 30 million in sales versus making one game in the course of 3 years and you just sell 20 million. Like, it is a better game that is received well. There isn't as much people who are tired of it, but you only sell 20 million, which is a lot. But when you have people who buy the game, a Pokemon game every single year, you make more money. So from a business perspective, maybe the reason they actually don't take breaks is purely because it doesn't make sense for business-wise. Like, they're just going to make more money. Like, taking a break and making a bigger game isn't going to actually yield them better results, sales-wise. You know?
That's probably, honestly,
That's
true.
probably what it is.
It's annoying, but it's probably true.
You know, and I know, considering the controversy, people probably be like, yeah, that's stupid and it's anti-consumer. It actually is. But I'm really optimistic about Sword and Shield. I think I'm gonna really like it. If it sucks when it comes out, I am obviously gonna be disappointed. I didn't love Let's Go. I liked it. Okay, like I played through it and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. Right? I didn't even buy Ultra Sun and Moon. Like, I was just not interested at all. So, but I did enjoy Ultra Sun and Moon, and I did enjoy Oris, and I did enjoy X and Y. So it's not like there aren't Pokemon games I don't enjoy anymore. I do. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna take the wait and see approach. So again, we still have other stuff to talk about. So I'm gonna talk about the ecology stream that's going to be happening for Pokemon Sword and Shield as well. So basically, let me check in with there's an article here. Yeah. So basically on Friday, there's going to be a camera setup in-game where they're going to broadcast footage of Glimwood Tangle. So it's going to be kind of like, when I say ecology report, like, it's going to be them sort of like observing the natural habitat of these Pokemon, and we're going to be able to watch a stream of it as if it's kind of like something from like Discovery Channel. That's really interesting to me, and we're going to learn about more about Pokemon Sword and Shield in that way. I think that's really cool. So I'm curious what we're going to learn from that. I imagine we'll see a couple more new Pokemon. and we're going to see a new area. I'm not really expecting much more beyond that. Like, I don't think we're going to learn about new mechanics. Maybe we'll see, like, a new item used or something like along those lines. Maybe a new character to sort of tell us what's going on in the environment. But that's pretty much what I'm sort of expecting from this stream.
Okay.
I do think it's going to be on loop, by the way. I don't think it's going to be 24 hours straight, like, with no cuts. I think it's going to be the same thing, like, over and over every, like, 24 times or something.
Perhaps. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe they would have just 24 hours. I wonder if it's literally just an actual person, like, streaming for 24 hours. They have actual hardware. That'd be, instead of, like, a pre-made thing, just a loop.
Maybe. Oh, maybe you just see the environment, Pokemon roaming around. Maybe. It might be cool because we might get to see, like, how the game transitions from night to day. You might get to see a weathering system, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure that's how it's going to work out, though, because this is set in a particular area in Galar that's not the wild area, right? And from what I understand, the other parts of the game aren't going to have the same weathering mechanics or things of that nature. So I don't know if we'll get to see, like, a dynamic day-night cycle or weathering system. If we do, that would be pretty cool. Not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a really cool idea. In theory, I'm wondering, like, because obviously you can't tune in for I mean, you could, but you're not gonna tune in for the whole 24 hours. So, like, when this is gonna be one of those things where it's gonna be cool when somebody goes back and, you know, kind of gathers everything that we actually learned that's new, and then they show that all at once. You know?
We haven't seen very much. I think at this point there's like 250 Pokemon confirmed, although apparently there is this listing for a bunch of Pokemon toys, and basically every cover legendary for every single generation is a part of this merchandising, suggesting that all of these big legendaries like Groudon, Kyogre, Xerneas, Yveltal, Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, Arceus, all of these legendaries are apparently... It's suggesting they're all going to be in Galar. So for people who are concerned, all of, like, the big legendaries, like the big ones, this merchandising suggesting that they're all going to be in the game.
I would assume they would prioritize legendaries, you know?
Right, if they're trying to get, like, most of the popular Pokemon in there, okay. But I was under the impression they were going to do what sort of made sense for that particular region. I'm not sure. We haven't gotten official confirmation yet, so it's hard to say.
Right. I would think they would go for the most popular, to be honest, but, you know, and then, of course, you'd get the ones that are, you know, the most for Galar, and you'd make them into the regional forms.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that could happen. I'm just seeing what Shadow of Nexus and Cakeman are talking about. Shadow of Nexus asked, wasn't there voice chat in the original game? Shadow of Nexus said there was. They also had Chat Talk banned because you could record your voice and people abused it. Right. You could record your voice so Chat Talk could mimic that, you know, because it's like a parrot. And you could say nasty things like asshat or dung beetle or... I'm not going to drop any...
You could make a your mama's joke.
Yes. Or your mom's a whale lord.
Things to say. Oh!
Oh yeah. One of my favorite Pokemon jokes actually is like, so there was this thing that people would do when they introduced Wonder Trade. I think they introduced Wonder Trade for Generation 5, could be wrong. Maybe even Generation 4. But anyways, at some point Wonder Trade was a thing where you can kind of get like a random Pokemon, and people would send Wailords, a giant freaking whale, right? A giant fat whale, and its name would be your mom. But it would have an item, and the item would be a burn heal. Because he got burned. I always thought that was really, really amazing. It was an amazing joke. But yeah, so, you know, we're going to see a stream on Friday. We're going to learn more about Sword and Shield and this new area, the Glenwood Tangle, right? That's really cool. There's some merchandising suggesting more legendaries are going to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. There's merchandising suggesting maybe Sinnoh remakes, although I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. We'll see. So some pretty interesting stuff. Another thing that came up actually is what was it? We may get a Galarian Krabby. There's been some. I'm not sure which Pokemon website, but there's a Pokemon website where there's just Krabbies everywhere. So it could just be a nod to something else going on. But if there's a Galarian Krabby announced or Kingler, they were teasing it.
That would make sense for Shield specific, because Crabs they got that. They got.
I could see an evolution where how that sort of panned out. Yeah.
One of his claws could be real big.
Yeah, maybe. The only issue I have with that is just that. So Farfetch'd is a stage, just one evolution. There's Crabby and then there's Kingler. So if they gave it another evolution, that wouldn't really be parity across both games. If that's going to be like the Shield counterpart, right? But maybe it's just Krabby and Farfetch'd, and then Farfetch'd becomes Galarian Kingler, and then there's Sirfetch'd, right? So that it could work out that way as well, or maybe it's just not Krabby that's the counterpart, right?
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, let's check in with the chat, and then we'll get into our final topic, because I know we have like 10 minutes before you have to leave. So, I mean, actually, we're pretty much caught up in the chat, guys. So we can we can move out. We can move on. So let's do that. Ranking of the Zeldas. Where should we put them? I don't know. I'm debating I should put it like a Google Doc so we can kind of like organize this real quick.
Right. So that's not a bad idea for sure.
Yeah, I guess the yeah, okay, I got a Google Doc right here. So let me make sure that's visible on stream. Yeah, it looks like you guys can see everything. So, I guess we'll each have our own ideas. Well, I mean, we can try it, since it's just us two, we can try to come to an agreement here. But let's list the worst Zelda first. I think, are we going to agree that the worst Zelda is Zelda 2?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's not good.
I agree.
I've played a little bit of it. Didn't like it. It definitely feels the least like Zelda. It's ridiculously hard. It's really kind of ugly, to be honest. It doesn't hold up well in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. I like Shadow of Nexus's idea, how we can kind of make it like a tier list. Okay, so I don't know how many tiers there are going to be, but let's just put this, let's have at least 3 tiers. So there's a tier of games that if you didn't play, I don't think you need to play them to have the ultimate Zelda experience, right? And I guess Zelda 2, that's the one where I'm like, yeah.
We could do S through F, so S, A, B, C, D, E, F.
Well, that's a lot of tiers, Brandon.
Or just S through C.
Okay, so S, B, A, and then C, S, no.
S, A, B,
C, B, A, and S.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 4 tiers. If you want to do it like that. Okay. You think we could divide it that way? I'll have to check out this tier maker another time, Shadow of Nexus. I only have like 10 more minutes with Brandon, maybe less. So I'm just gonna do what we can here. What else belongs in tier C?
The original. Probably.
You think so?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say the original is definitely bottom tier.
You know what I feel like is like some of the games that are like lower on my list are Phantom Hourglass.
I would put those in tier probably B.
How do you feel about Spirit Tracks?
Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass are pretty much on the same level. Spirit Tracks is better than Phantom Hourglass, but it's not better enough to tier. Yeah.
I don't feel like Zelda 1 is nearly as bad as Zelda 2.
True. I mean, I feel like Zelda 2 needs another tier just for it that's lower.
It's not as bad as the CDI games.
Yeah, no, it's not.
This is why I wanted to do through F.
so we'd have a little bit more range. The more range, because some
know
of
what?
these games,
Screw the tier list, because I think we just can't do that. I just don't think we can do it and have enough time. Another day we'll do tiers. Zelda 2's bottom. What is the next one? Do you really think it should be the original Zelda?
Yeah.
I think, when you take into consideration how much has been improved upon, it's not so much an insult on the first Zelda, it's more of a compliment on how much the series has progressed.
Yeah. The original's still pretty good. Like, it still holds up. But it's just not as good as the other ones, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So, next. I think the next one is Phantom Hourglass, yeah.
Yeah. Phantom Hourglass is good. It's just not that good.
Zelda 2 is technically called Adventure of Link, right?
Yeah, but we don't type that.
I did it. It's fine. Just because if I'm going to call just one of them Zelda... Phantom Hourglass, I agree. That's next. And then I guess Spirit Tracks is right after.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, so we're making progress here. We're almost at good games.
Hey, Spirit Tracks is awesome. I want a remake of that game.
All of these games on this list are enjoyable. We're talking about my favorite series here. So whenever I say something is trash for Zelda, I'm kind of just exaggerating.
Except maybe Zelda 2. I'd have to
Except
play
maybe
that
Zelda
see.
2.
That one might actually just be bad.
It's really hard, man. It's really hard.
Okay. Next.
Maybe after Brandon leaves, I can organize this into a tier list afterwards. But I still want to Shadow of Nexus. So if you want to send me a tier list or show me the website, I'll do that. But for now, I'm going to make sure...
I can definitely stay on until we finish this list. Like, we don't have to end exactly at 9:30.
Okay. So now...
Honestly, for me, the next one might be Twilight Princess.
Well, so hold on a second. I think this is definitely where things are going to get more contentious, because one, Twilight Princess is freaking really good. Okay, so how dare you? But secondly, there's a Zelda series, a couple of Zelda games I haven't played that makes this kind of hard for me.
Yeah, I haven't played the Oracle games.
I haven't played the Oracle games, right? So that...
I think the Oracle games are the only ones on the list.
They're like supposed like rate... Yeah, me too. Should we count Four Swords in this?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, so we're gonna exclude all the multiplayer Zelda games. If there's multiplayer
I haven't even
in
played that one, so I wouldn't be able to really rank it.
Yeah, so in terms of single player Zelda games, the only one we haven't played is the Oracle of Ages and Seasons, which is another reason why they should be remade.
Yeah,
but I've heard that they're like really they're very highly rated.
They have a 92 on Metacritic.
So
which is the second highest rating for any of the 2D Zelda games. Only Link to the Past rated higher.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those issues where I think I'm just going to rely solely on rating to sort of like put this theater. So just asterisk on Oracle of Ages and Seasons because we haven't played it.
Yeah.
We should play it, and we're sinners.
I don't think we should rank it since we haven't played it. We'll just keep it out of the rank, an unknown rank. Question mark rank.
Question mark rank. That's fair.
Actually, now that I think about it, I might put Link to the Past next. Because I might like Twilight Princess more than Link to the Past. Honestly, Link to the Past, it's okay. It's not amazing.
I almost want to agree with you.
Like, there are definitely...
I have a hard time putting any of the 3D Zeldas under A Link to the Past. So that's where I agree. Which really just leaves A Link Between Worlds and Minish Cap. I've played all of them. I have not beaten Minish Cap though. But
I have beaten it. It's great.
I really enjoyed Minish Cap. The only reason I didn't beat it is because I actually only borrowed the game and I just didn't have enough time to beat it. But I really enjoyed it. I thought the style was really strong. Which was also developed by Capcom, by the way, right? So, like, Capcom had a good... Am I wrong in saying it was Capcom?
No, I think you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So, like, Capcom made some really good Zelda games. for the Game Boy Color and Advance. You know what? I think you're right. Ooh. The thing is, there are some people like
piss off some people right
because
now.
Link to the Past is considered to be like one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah.
But you gotta understand, we're looking at this from a like play now perspective, not really a historical perspective. From a historical perspective, Link to the Past is like one of the most important Zelda games, right?
It's great. It's just
but
not as good as some of these other ones.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Right. So I think I've played Link to the Past and I enjoyed it. But I remember I've liked the, I guess, essence of Minish Cap more than A Link to the Past. So I think I would have to put Minish Cap over A Link to the Past, right? Even though I beat A Link to the Past and I did like it, I feel like, you know... Well, for the record, if any remakes or ports, like, that's all just one game, right? Like, for Link's Awakening, it's just going to be the one we're just going to think of the most modern, best version of that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're ranking. Like, if we did it like by each version that came out, Chris, we wouldn't have enough time. That's simple.
Yeah.
I also haven't played every single version of every single Zelda game. I never played the GBA port of Link to the Past. I only played I played A Link to the Past on my Wii U, technically, actually. So, but that was of the Super Nintendo version.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with you, Brandon. A Link to the Past is the next on the list, just from a play now perspective, not from a GOAT's perspective.
Yeah.
GOAT's as in greatest of all time for historical accomplishment. And I think the next one is just Minish Cap. I think.
Honestly, I might put Link's Awakening below Minish Cap.
Ooh.
I like Link's Awakening a lot. I'm gonna make a video very soon on my thoughts on it and how, kind of like a review, but
okay.
From I never having played it before perspective. So, but yeah, that game.
I really am liking Link's Awakening.
Minish Cap is just way better, honestly. Even like Link's Awakening is a great world, but like Minish Cap's really freaking good.
I think this is where we're gonna have like a timeline divide.
Yeah, maybe.
I
want to put Link's Awakening next.
Okay. Yeah, we're having a division in timelines here, because I'm gonna have to not agree with you. But I also didn't finish Minish Cap, right? So I haven't finished Link's Awakening either, though, and maybe there's recency bias there. But I'm just gonna stick with what I'm. I would like to see a remake of Minish Cap as well.
Oh, that would be awesome, actually.
But I personally feel that you're wrong. I think Link's Awakening, I might even like it more than A Link Between Worlds. No, not that much. No. Link's Awakening is really good, but I think A Link Between Worlds is my favorite 2D Zelda. Actually, I mean, I'm going by 2D Zeldas here, but is there a 3D Zelda that's under any of these 2D Zeldas in your opinion?
I wanted to say Twilight Princess, but thinking on it,
my hype level for all the 3D Zeldas is completely. Just way better. It's just in another tier. It's another tier for me, so I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't. All 3D Zeldas are higher for me personally. And I mean, I grew up in the 3D era, right? N64 was my first system I actually played on, so there is no 2D Zelda that I'm like, man, that game was better than any of the 3D Zeldas to me. So
yeah, it's just 3D Zelda is just the king.
So for you, it's Link's Awakening, Minish Cap, and A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, I think if Minish Cap got a remake, it could be better than A Link Between Worlds, but in its current state, I'd say Link Between Worlds is better.
All right, and I'm gonna put a note, because in case someone's like, "Hey, you forgot Oracle of Ages and Seasons. No, we haven't played it.
It's unranked because we haven't tried it.
Yeah. That's actually a better word for it. Unranked. Yes, I can't type. I know.
Jesus Christ.
Stop. Now I'm like getting self-conscious. All of you are judging me. I'm really not like this is. You guys are in my head now. Stop talking about. You're all making fun of me. I can't handle it.
Okay.
Because that was
now to bicker over which is the worst 3D Zelda game. Or maybe not. Maybe we agree.
Maybe our timelines could unify again. Maybe. Because we really only deferred in our positioning for Minish Cap and Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you know what? We're back on the same timeline now. Because the next game, I think we both agree, is actually. So I think we're Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Breath of the Wild are the top 4. But we're gonna debate about where to put Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess.
Honestly, I was going to say that I kind of think Majora's Mask might be the worst one.
Go to hell.
Even though it has
you go to hell.
Best
You are
lore,
Majora's Mask.
The best side quests.
Okay.
It's just,
yeah.
I don't like the time mechanic. I hate being pressured. I hate. You think Ocarina of Time's water done just bad? Majora's Mask is.
You know what?
Way worse.
Our timelines are not unifying. Screw you. I thought we could work together here.
It's either Twilight Princess or Majora's Mask for me, and honestly, I had Majora's Mask 3D, and I could have beaten it, and I didn't.
So, I want to reiterate from a play now perspective, right? From a play now perspective, for sure Majora's Mask is better than Twilight Princess to me. It's not even close.
Okay.
From a first experience perspective, I think it's really close. It's hard for me to really say. But because we're doing this from a play now perspective, right? Like it's just not a Majora's Mask is just more fun to play through for me. And the music in Majora's Mask hits me harder.
It's really good.
The moments of Majora's Mask hit me harder. It's just...
Yeah. Honestly, though, like, I love Majora's Mask for its lore and its story and its music, but actually playing the game, I'd rather play Twilight Princess. That's just my opinion. I'd rather play Twilight Princess.
Right, and that's why, you're in the worst timeline. So... I'm debating if I should put Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword. I feel like
Skyward Sword, I love that game.
I love Skyward Sword too, but I'm still not sure which game I should put, like, if I should put Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword. You know what? I'm putting Twilight Princess as the worst 3D Zelda for me, and the main reasoning for it, in my eyes, is difficulty. Because how I am about my difficulty, but my games need to be challenging. If they're not challenging, it loses a lot of weight and stake, and that really adds a lot to the experience for me.
I don't have that much of an issue with Twilight Princess difficult, to be honest. My thing is that game needed a remake, not a remaster. If it had gone a remake, it would be way better than Skyward Sword.
Oh, Twilight Princess? Yeah, if it was like in the vein of that 2011 tech demo for the Wii U, that would have been incredible.
Yeah, it needed a remake, not a remaster. That's just there's just some mechanics it needed changed. It needed more content. That world is so empty. It's so cool, but it's so empty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you there.
I'm gonna have to go Majora's Mask then Twilight Princess. Just cause.
Oh no, I screwed that up.
I really love Twilight Princess, even though it's like really close to the bottom. I love of the 3D games. I still love that game so much.
Shadow Nexus, I'm gonna shout you out. I appreciate that you're saying that this tier website would have been better. I didn't really think about this. We're rolling with Google Docs. I'm sorry. Okay, so you are putting Twilight Princess right here. I don't know where I'm at because I'm gonna have to put. You know what? Skyward Sword is next for me. Right? And the reason being is because, like I said, it's similar to Twilight Princess. While Skyward Sword is challenging, my issues with Skyward Sword. And guys, I know people were ranking them. I like every Zelda game. The one I think most people agree Adventure of Link is not the best Zelda game. Zelda 1 I actually enjoyed, but it's so kind of hard to navigate. But beyond that, I would say every Zelda game is like a really fun experience for me, right? So any game, no game here I'm saying is bad, right? Except maybe Adventure of Link.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that one, I want to play that because I want to know if it's actually really that bad. I've played a bit of it.
It's just kind of like really hard.
But
you can like I think it's like sort of implied you have like sex with prostitutes.
Did not know that actually.
I mean, you go into a house with a lady in red and you get more life back. So interpret that as you will. You know, like yeah. But anyway, so my reason for putting Skyward Sword right after Twilight Princess is just that even though it's challenging and the story is arguably the best told story in a Zelda game, my issue is that it's one of those things where it's just hard to replay. It's really hard to replay because there's so much you have to do to start the game, and the pacing's just not really good. And then there is all the like filler content towards the second half of the game that kind of just don't give it as much flow as the later Zelda games that we're going to talk about. So that's why it's on this at this point.
Skyward Sword's definitely next on my list here.
Okay, so I mean, even though we're in different timelines, our timelines are similar. We're kind of just like swapping, like we swapped Link's Awakening and Minish Cap, and we're swapping Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. Although I haven't brought up Majora's
Mask yet.
No, yeah, which is why you were scum, but that's okay. For me, I don't know if there's anything you want to say to Skyward Sword.
No, I think you summed it up pretty well.
Okay. My next game is Majora's Mask. So, while we talked about how like Majora's Mask has like the best eerie feeling ever, right? It just gives you that sense of eeriness and creepiness and mysticism all at the same time. Like there is something magical about the game, and all the characters are really, really interesting. And obviously, I love transforming into the Goron and the Zora, and just
awesome.
All the masks are really cool. The world is brilliant, and the story is actually fairly intriguing as well for what it is. But there is only 4 dungeons, right? There's only 4 dungeons, so I guess from that perspective, you say it's a little annoying. And then some of the dungeons aren't. While they have some cool mechanics, especially the 4th one.
Yeah,
they're frustrating elements as well.
In that game, they're frustrating. They're annoying. You have to beat them with a time limit, which sucks. I don't like the dungeons in that game. I don't like.
They're not the best. That's where we kind of agree. They're just. Well, I liked the time mechanic. I thought that was really interesting. I just didn't think the dungeons were as. They're not the strongest Zelda dungeons. They just aren't. And also the bosses are really just kind of okay to me. They're not really... Even the final boss. The final boss... Well, yes, I like Majora's Mask, but the design of what form he took wasn't really that hype-worthy to me.
It was weird.
It's just kind of, like, weird. I love the whole going to the moon, speaking to the children. Like, that element was really cool. Just the actual boss fight, it's not bad.
The 4th
it's not
dungeon
great.
Boss fight's really cool. It's just not...
It is really cool.
It's, like, cool looking.
Cool looking. But there are bosses like that in the other Zelda games.
That's my thing about Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is really cool in terms of its atmosphere and the story, and it looks cool. I just don't actually have that much fun when I play it. I don't think a lot of the design elements in terms of gameplay itself holds up that well. Mm-hmm. In my opinion. Obviously, you think differently or you're putting it much higher on the list, but for me, it's the gameplay was okay.
I get you.
The story is absolutely fantastic. The lore is amazing. Has the best side quest of almost like any game ever. It's so good.
Well, like, I think
side quests are so great.
One interesting difference between you and I is because, you know, I really care about difficulty and challenge, right? Mm-hmm. While you care more about the flow and just kind of enjoying the experience. Not that I don't enjoying the experience.
Majora's Mask is one of those games you have to replay segments a lot to get it right and get the, you know, because you gotta make sure you have everything. You gotta make sure you're in the exact same place at the exact right time, and you kind of gotta experiment. I don't like that because I have to do the same thing over and over again. It pisses me off.
Yeah. So, Brandon, how much time do you have?
I should be good for
a few more minutes. Okay, so there's a couple things in the chat that I want to like just get to, and then we'll finish off with. There's 3 more games left, so we can't take that much longer. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to like hold you. If you need to go, just let me know. But just checking with the chat here. It's real quick. My Hammer Pro. Anyways, my favorite Zelda game is a link to. Yeah, it's a Link to the Past, right? Yeah. A Link to the Past. I love the gameplay, difficulty, story, pixel art style. I'm hoping Nintendo remakes the game. It would be really interesting to see Nintendo remake Link to the Past. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the soundtrack is. I mean, like I said, even though I put Link to the Past like lower on my list, it doesn't mean I don't think the game's amazing. It is. Yeah. I would love to see like the Underworld like in 3D. That'd be really cool. That'd be amazing. Low Rule would be so cool to see. Is the Underworld called Low Rule in Link to the Past, or is that just a Link Between Worlds?
Don't think so.
It's the same concept, though.
Yeah. Similar. It's very similar, yeah.
Little Squirt, you've never played any Zelda game, and that's okay. Because that just means you have all of these incredible games that you have not experienced yet. That it's almost like, it's kind of like, you know, when someone tells you, oh, I haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, or I haven't watched Lord of the Rings yet, or I haven't watched Harry Potter yet.
It's like, lucky you, I wish I were you.
Yeah, or like, oh, I haven't watched Naruto or One Piece yet, or Dragon Ball. Well, guess what, man? You have thousands of hours of content to go enjoy. Yes. Let me know how your adventure is, because it's going to be brilliant. So just check out a Zelda game, Little Squirt. I think you'll really like it. Mm-hmm. And Shadow of Nexus, I agree. Skyward Sword has the strongest story out of all Zelda games.
Yeah, it's great.
So let's move back though. All right, so we have three Zelda games left, right? Those being Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker. Mm-hmm. So like, you know, it's interesting though. Even though we've kind of diverged a little bit, our final 3 are still our final 3. Now where we put them though. Mm-hmm. Is interesting. I know what my third one is already. I think we're gonna agree on this. It starts with an F.
With an F.
Fungal's Tale. It's a secret Zelda game you've never played. Oh. No, okay. It's Wind Waker.
Ocarina of Time? No.
Oh.
No.
Oh my God.
Wind Waker. No. Ocarina of Time.
Oh. You're actually making me consider it. Because the thing is, like, I have been saying from a play now perspective as opposed to a historical perspective, right? I guess the thing that about Ocarina of Time is just that. For years, I've always said it's my greatest game of all time. You know? Oh, dude. Yeah.
Ocarina of Time has more remake potential than Wind Waker, but it hasn't been hit yet. You know?
I mean, it has technically been hit. It's Ocarina of Time 3D.
But it has more potential way beyond what they did with the Ocarina of Time 3D.
It's hard to because every single game...
Wind Waker's hit the ceiling. Wind Waker has hit a ceiling. But since we're doing a play now perspective, such a remake that goes beyond Wind Waker doesn't exist, which is why I want to put Wind Waker above it. But I do see like the potential for Ocarina of Time to be so much better than Wind Waker. But it doesn't exist. That's just a pipe dream. So I'm not taking that into consideration, really.
Ocarina of Time 3D is still really good to play. So,
It is.
damn, it's really close for me, man.
It
all
is
three
really
of these,
close.
all three of these are really close for me. But
Honestly, I'm probably putting Wind Waker over for nostalgia, even though I do have a lot of nostalgia with Ocarina of Time. It's very close. I'm literally
you're
only
putting
putting
Wind
Wind
Waker
Waker because
third.
Wind Waker has been my favorite game of all time for
no,
a
no,
long
no,
time.
no, no, no.
So
I'm putting
be
Wind Waker
weird.
third. You're putting Ocarina of Time third.
Right.
Okay. All right, I got you. So, I got you.
That pains me to do. But at the same time, if I put Wind Waker, that'd pain me too.
Everything
This
pains
is like
me.
picking between my children at this point.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So I'm putting Wind Waker.
The other ones weren't that hard, but this one's like, oh.
So for me, Wind Waker is like I would say it's arguably the most well-rounded Zelda game in terms of like an experience, right? Because the sailing, I think, is epic. Like I never was annoyed by sailing for 30 minutes on end. Like,
No, I loved that.
but I was a kid when I played Wind Waker, right? I
Cool.
had time to just sit there
I just
sailing.
loved looking out in the horizon and just seeing tiny specks of an island. You're like, can I go there? It's like a shadow. It felt very Breath of the Wild in that sense. It was like all directions I could go, and I would find something. Just sailing on the high seas, finding secrets. It was great.
Yeah. No, it is just like finding each island. You find a new island, like, oh, what's here? Like that mystery to that is really, really cool. And like I feel like from a lot of perspectives, Wind Waker is the better game than Ocarina of Time, but it's just like the reason why Ocarina of Time is higher than for me is one, like, to me it is like the ideal Zelda game. It is the ideal Zelda experience, right? Like, you play Ocarina of Time from beginning to end, you know what Zelda is, right? Like, Wind Waker is kind of like a departure from that, right? A little bit. Even Breath of the Wild is a departure from that in a little bit. I think Breath of the Wild is an evolution for Zelda, but it's missing some key elements, such as a cohesive story and more big dungeons, right? So that is the thing about that game that sort of holds it back for me. Also, the issue with me for Wind Waker, it's too freaking easy. It's way too freaking easy. In terms of story, it's probably right under Skyward Sword. Like, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker. Especially because Wind Waker arguably has the best climax for any Zelda, not just Zelda games, like any video game ever.
It's really
right?
cool.
Like, that moment, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't played it.
Ganondorf too.
Yeah, it was a great. They had a pretty good relationship as well. Like, I think that makes it pretty strong. Yeah, like Ganondorf had character development in that game, so it was very good. But it's just too easy for me, and I think it's too short. So for those two reasons, it's just third amongst the greatest gaming series of all time, which is still really freaking good. So I guess for your second one,
I'll take third. At least if you put it under third, I'd have been upset. But
I've already hired an assassin to slay you for putting Majora's Mask so low, but that's all right. What is your second?
God, I want to put Breath of the Wild second because nostalgia, but no, it has to be Wind Waker. Like, you can't. No, yeah, Wind Waker second.
Oh wow, man, that's nuts.
I'm sorry, but
no, it's, you don't have to be sorry. It's just I know what you're putting first now.
I'm sorry to Wind Waker.
Oh,
not to you.
Oh, well now I feel bad. So, my second pick.
Drum roll, please.
And it pains me to do this, but I think yep, I'm doing it. Putting Breath of the Wild is second.
Okay.
Amongst all Zelda games.
That's fair. But
yeah. And I guess there's a bit of hypocrisy with what I'm saying, because Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker HD are probably better games to play than Ocarina of Time. Because if you're new to Zelda, right, like, I would recommend playing Breath of the Wild or Wind Waker HD over Ocarina of Time 3D, right? But my issue is, like I said, Ocarina of Time is still kind of like the quintessential Zelda to me. And the problem with Breath of the Wild is that I enjoy playing. Whenever I turn on the game and I'm in it, I'm having a great time. But once you play through the game in its entirety from beginning to end, right? Whenever you go back, yeah, it's kind of fun to explore. Like, I enjoy doing that. But I've restarted the game a few times, and I've never felt compelled to continue. So there's just something. I think it has to do with the story.
It feels the least Zelda of all the Zeldas, I guess, because it's so much different. Like, it has a lot of, like, the dungeons aren't that great. Dungeons used to be a huge part of Zelda. Now they're, like, okay. Like, I like the shrines as a backup to that, but they're not dungeons.
I just wish they would have dungeons and shrines.
Isn't interesting. Right. That's what I want. And I want them to, like, integrate it into the world, not these walking robot things.
It's why I think Breath of the Wild 2, honestly, could end up being the best game. Best Zelda game.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to take everything that was accomplished with Breath of the Wild with the open world, the mechanics, the physics, right? Maybe even having a lot of mini dungeons and things of that nature. Because all of that was great. What it really just needed was a cohesive story, some more enemy designs, and more dungeons. And those three things imbued into what Breath of the Wild was would literally be the greatest game of all time, no question.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but Ocarina of Time basically did that for the N64 era. Right? And you play Ocarina of Time 3D, it's still perfectly fun, it runs fluidly, you get a very compelling story, it's still challenging, there are epic bosses, there's a really cool story, it has great aura and mysticism, there is...
The atmosphere of that game is...
Yeah, so, like, there's nothing wrong with Ocarina of Time 3D besides the fact that it's on the 3DS.
Yeah, it needs a Switch remake. I made a video recently talking. Not specifically that, but, you know, remakes on the Switch.
But for you, you're putting Breath of the Wild number 1.
Yeah.
And why is that?
It's like everything I've ever wanted from a video game. Like, I just love exploring. That's what I love in video games, just taking my time and exploring and finding new cool things in the world. So it was like the video game. It's like everything I ever wanted. It was great. It was beautiful graphics. The world was super interesting. There was always something to find everywhere. Tons of puzzles. Even though there wasn't dungeons, they did have all the shrines, which was honestly awesome, because a lot of the other Zelda games, like, you'd explore and you'd find, like, a heart container or some money. In this one, it was like, I found more fun content. So it was a little bit more. Like, exploring felt better than any other game ever, like, that exists, period.
Yes,
and that's what I love about video games.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild mastered exploration. I
love that feeling, like, when I was young, and I still love to do this when I can, just going out in the woods in real life and, like, just exploring. I loved that. That's what I used to love for even the other older Zelda games. That's why I loved Wind Waker so much, because you could just explore and it felt like the world was super huge and there was always things to find. Always new islands to explore, and it was like that, but way, way, way better.
I mean, it makes sense. I agree with you. Breath of the Wild is the greatest exploration game of all time. Yeah. It's not really. And Wind Waker kind of is like the... What's the word I'm looking for? It's not. I mean, it is technically a prequel, right? But it was kind of almost like... Yeah, it's... The thought process that went into the design for the Wind Waker sort of is what led to Breath of the Wild to me, if that makes sense. Like, you look at like Wind Waker to Breath of the Wild is kind of like Super Mario Sunshine
up a lot of times
to Super Mario Galaxy, if that makes sense. And now when I say Sunshine, I don't mean Sunshine as a whole. I mean the Shadow Mario elements, like the Shadow Mario elements, what they explored with that they sort of took to a whole other level and made Mario Galaxy. With Wind Waker, traveling from island to island, seeing something in the background, saying, "Oh, that's a point of interest. Let me go there and explore and find something new." That's what they took to a whole other level in Breath of the Wild. So, I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you. Man, the reason why Breath of the Wild isn't my number one is because the story was not as strong.
Yeah.
And I think it really is just that, the story. Because while there are still cool dungeons, actually, you know what? There's also bosses. There was no
Bosses
really cool
trash.
dungeon bosses in Breath of the Wild. They had the different forms of calamity, right? Which the scourges, which
They were terrible.
they were okay. But what I really wanted, like, it would have been cool if that like consumed, like if let's say the scourge, like the calamity, Ganon, Aura, the malice, like resurrected an evil demon monster for each. It's like, what if that's the way they handle dungeons in Breath of the Wild 2? Because what if you actually explore all of the ancient temples and dungeons that we know are in Hyrule, but we didn't visit at all in Breath of the Wild, right? Which don't you think is weird? Because Breath of the Wild, they had so many nods to different places in the history of Hyrule, but there was only like one or two. There's only 2 temples that they showed at all in Hyrule, but there's like maybe like 20 others that they could have shown, but they're just mysteriously missing, right?
Yeah.
What if?
And there was a lot of places that could have been like really cool dungeon entrances, and they just don't lead anywhere.
But in Breath of the Wild 2, the ground breaks up. There's a focus on underground. So what if a lot of these temples are just underground because they're so old, right, from ruins and stuff? And you explore them, and then the calamity, the malice, the scourges, they resurrect these bosses you've beat throughout different times in different Zelda games. So it could be a way to revisit some of the best bosses, but obviously completely remixed.
That'd be great.
You know,
and I want them to be puzzles, like bosses, like overworld bosses. That's fine if they're just a health bar, like normal enemies. But bosses should be like puzzles, and it's fine if they still have a health bar. But I want a sort of puzzle to get to actually be able to hurt them.
I'm okay with, so I'm with you there, but you know how I like my challenge. I want it to be a boss that even once I figure it out, it's still threatening to me. Like I still have to time my moves. I still have to be prepared for it. Like I want it to be both, because I'm with you with the puzzles, but I still, even when I figure it out, I still want it to be a stressful moment because I have to still dodge and avoid in time.
That is one thing about Link's Awakening that I didn't really particularly enjoy.
But I played in hero mode, man. I've been playing in hero mode. I've died over 100 times already. It's hard. The bosses are challenging. I die all the time. Actually, some of the bosses are still kind of easy, but the game overall, especially some of the mini bosses, like they're hard.
The only boss I really had trouble with was the final boss of the game.
Don't tell me, don't spoil it for me. There was one that I had trouble with, and it was like I said, I'm playing in hero mode, man. So I'm telling you, everything is different. I have like 5 hearts at all times because I always die, so I can't go back and get more fairies and stuff. So
I hate how fairies don't fully heal you.
I die like in 2 hits, like pretty much from a boss.
Do you use the secret stuff?
Yes, but that costs money, so I don't do it all the time.
You can get them in dungeons through chests.
The what?
Yeah, they're in chests in dungeons.
Not in hero mode. There's no life at all given in any dungeon in hero mode. The only way you can get life in hero mode in Link's Awakening is just from fairies, or is her name Lucy? The girl that you pay to give you lotion.
Oh, I don't remember what her name is. It's like nothing though. It's like 25 rupees.
It's 28 or 42, at least in hero mode. I don't know if it's different in regular mode. That's the only way I can get life. Once I'm in a dungeon, like, I would have to leave to get life. So I get hit like 3 or 4 times and I'm dead, pretty much. And there's just stuff everywhere. I don't know if they're harder in here. I think they hit harder in hero mode too. That's the other thing. So even though I collect heart pieces, like, my life doesn't last as long. So yeah, I think Link's Awakening hero mode, man, it's been a fun challenge. It really has. It has not been a cakewalk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Normal mode's so easy. I died 1 time, and the only reason I died is because I thought it was like in other games where fairies auto-revived you if you died, so I didn't bother healing. And I died.
Yeah.
Even though I had 2 fairies on me.
So, Brandon, I know I don't know, you can leave whenever you want. I know obviously, you know, I don't need to tell you that, but you know, we're done with the Zelda thing, I guess. I'll probably just go through the chat and then call it a night. I don't know if you want to stick by for that, but
I gotta go right now.
yeah, it's already 11:05.
A little bit.
What?
I probably should have left a little bit ago, but it's fine.
Oh, I missed your wedding, sister. I'm
missed your wedding
sorry.
because I was too busy talking about Zelda.
It's not my fault that you didn't invent Zelda.
You knew I had a podcast tonight. Why would you do so?
Yeah, why would you schedule your wedding on such a day?
Yes.
Mondays are just not, they're off limits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She should know.
But guys, Brandon has to go get married. I'm just kidding. His sister's getting married, and he has to watch it because she's in the Philippines. Yeah. So I don't even know if your sister knows. So she does know who I am, but she doesn't care about my existence. But anyway, I extend my congratulations to her if that comes up in conversation. So yeah, enjoy watching it. That's Brandon from Without Nintendo, guys. Make sure to check him out. The link to his channel is in the description below.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be here for a few more minutes though.
Right.
See you, man.
Bye.
So, ooh, I have a bang. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, exactly, Mastermind. It's about to become committed now. I'm just joking. Let me check in with the chat though, see what I missed here. Hammer Pro saying it's the same map from A Link to the Past on the old world and a link between worlds, and Nintendo changed some stuff in low rule, so it wasn't much of a copy paste of the Dark World. Okay, so we're talking about the low rule and Dark World from A Link Between Worlds and A Link to the Past. Super Chris, it took you some time to get used to the Wind Waker. I mean, you know, if you're still in chat, just let me know how so. Shadow of Nexus, I don't really like the Breath of the Wild as much as more people. The story is lackluster, the combat is super limited, and side quests are like too fetch questy. I see where you're coming from. I mean, I still love Breath of the Wild, but there are elements that could be better. Like if the side quests are more along the lines of Majora's Mask or A Link's Awakening, maybe a mix of those two, right? Or more what they did with like Terry Town. Some of the fetch quests, yeah, I like the more interesting side quests. So if they could focus a little bit more on that. More combat options would be appreciated. Although I think if you really use the world in Breath of the Wild to your advantage, there's still a lot you can do. But still, I think there should be more combat options. Like I remember when we saw the Flurry Rush, my impression the first time we saw it with the Breath of the Wild, like, you know, footage leading up to the release, was that there was going to be other advanced techniques like Flurry Rush that we would learn that we'd be able to use. They just had Flurry Rush. I want more things like Flurry Rush. And definitely the story needed to be more cohesive. So those are elements that they could definitely improve upon with Breath of the Wild 2. Mastermind, your number one Zelda is between Link's Awakening and Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I really need to play Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I'm kind of hoping they remake that game next. Grezzo, come on, man. Grezzo, you can do it. Link's Awakening's pretty good so far. Yeah, Shadow of Nexus. It has its flaws, Breath of the Wild, but the shrines definitely are super awesome. You're saying that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are the worst ones for you? That's very interesting. There's some, especially with Wind Waker. Wind Waker's so high up for me. Them demo, yeah. I mean, I was just talking about. I agree. Breath of the Wild is like a spiritual successor to the Wind Waker. I mean, there's so many rock salts and Koroks everywhere. You gotta think there's some sort of connection. And no, I'm not talking about the timeline. We pretty much are. Oh man, have I made it? I don't think I've made a video on that, have I? The timeline for Breath of the Wild, because you know, I don't know. I gotta look back to see if I've made a video on it, because I don't like redoing stuff I've already done, obviously. But like I've thought about it in my head, because we pretty much know for a fact that the Ganondorf, that's Ganondorf in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. And it seems like it's the same Ganondorf from Twilight Princess. And if that's the case, that would mean the game takes place, you know, in Twilight Princess. Oh, you know, actually, I did make a video about the timeline. It was weird. But I did talk about it already, so I guess I don't have to do that. Master, speaking of Breath of the Wild, I need to finish that use. Yes, you do. Jugs McGee, hello, hello. Yes. Shout Nexus, I did say that. The girl you paid to give you lotion. There is something. It happens in Link's Awakening, man. It's objectively, that is what happens. She's a girl, you pay her, she gives you lotion. Happens. Let me see. Alright, so you sent me something on Discord. Check it out real quick. Tier maker. Oh, I see it now. I hate how... Alright. So this is the tier maker you were talking about. Zelda tier maker. You know, I have seen this before. I can just pick it out. So I guess I could just organize this. So... yeah, Adventure Link is definitely the bottom. This is a lot easier. I'm gonna put this let me see here. I think in terms of these games are S tier to me. And then A tier games. You know what? I think Majora's Mask is even A tier to me personally. Skyward Sword, Twilight. This is just me. You know, this is not even like sort of trying to compare it to like review scores or anything like that. Yep, I'm just putting all the 2D Zelda games in B tier. Pretty much. That's pretty much how I feel about them. They're pretty close to each other. Although, I think these two are a little worse. Which one's this one? Is this Four Swords? I can't tell. Yeah, it's Four Swords. That's kind of close to how I actually feel about the games. It's pretty close to it. Yep. So, I'm checking here with the chat, and then, you know, we're calling it a night soon. Mastermind, you're asking, will the champions make their appearance in Breath of the Wild 2? That's a good question. I'm gonna say no. Oh, actually, you know what I can do? I can put on my camera now, so you can just see me. Here I am. I'll put this on this side, so there we go. So that way it's like similar to the way it is on Discord. But I don't know. I think they're dead. There may be some mention of them. I think there could still be some flashbacks, but I think the focus is going to be on characters that we saw alive in Breath of the Wild, and obviously some new ones will be introduced. Yeah, Shadow of Nexus, it was a lot easier. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. We're pretty much at the end here. I guess, you know, all I can really say is, hey, check out the merch store, you know, for the shirt. Links in the description below. Yeah, if you order it, you know, once I get the fees and stuff, I set it all up and I ship it. Within about a week, you'll get the shirts. Zelda might be a vegetarian. Huh. That would be interesting to see. Let me see here. Actually, I don't think I saw this thing from you, Masterman. You said you really hope Zelda will be playable for once. That's actually, like, I'm legit been planning a video on that for a really long time. I might be coming out with that video for this week finally. So I think there's definitely two. I just want to kind of like organize all the evidence and like present it in a video. Because I think there's a lot there. Now, I don't know for sure if like she'll be playable like as an alternate option as opposed to Link, or if she'll be kind of like a companion character, but I think she's going to have something to do with the actual gameplay this time around. Like, by the way they showed off in the trailer and based off previous interviews and the trends I've seen with different Zelda games. And I'll highlight all of this in more detail with the video I'm probably going to do this week, I think. Yeah, I think she will have something to do with actual gameplay this time around in Breath of the Wild 2. Yes, computer robots, I am spending time with you guys on my own. That can happen. See you, Lazy James. Geek, what's up, man? Recessive Gamer, I doubt Zelda is vegetarian because she urges Link to eat a frog, something that doesn't align with the motives of a vegetarian. One would think, Recessive Gamer. Shadow Next is saying, well, she doesn't eat meat in the game, though. How often do we see her eat meat, though? We don't really see her eat ever, right? So, hard to say for sure. What evidence do we have that she is vegetarian? Like, if there's any... We haven't seen her eat, period. That's the thing. So, it's hard to say that she's vegetarian. I can't think of her eating anything. So, I don't know. Unless something came up recently about her being vegetarian, I have no idea. So, if you guys have anything to say on that in the chat, really cool to see. But... yeah, I think there's a chance she could be put... Maybe we'll find out that she's a vegetarian in Breath of the Wild, too. Yes. I agree with you, Recessive Gamer. He said, plot twist, Zelda eats light through photosynthesis. That could happen. She, obviously, think about it. All the light she produces at the end of Breath of the Wild, she's a monster. Like, she's basically, like, cold fusion is happening in her body. She just releases it, and she's basically like a sun that can just shoot light and sun rays and destroy everything. So maybe she does kind of like photosynthesize to eat. Geek, or maybe she's actually interested in Link. Zelda is 100% interested in Link. To eat, maybe metaphorically, not. I hope not, because that's kind of creepy. I'd be a little terrified of that, to be honest with you. It would be interesting to see, though, right? Like, Mastermind, like, what if she's just vegan? That'd be cool. Man, I don't know why, but I just had one of those moments, like, in my chest. Like, just thinking about Breath of the Wild, thinking about future Pokemon games. Like, I'm just excited for all these adventures that are coming. Like, it's a really cool feeling, man. Like, it's kind of, I feel like I'm part of those adventures when it happens. I'm just generally just kind of excited for what's to come. It's been, like, a really, last few months in terms of, like, games have been really good. So, like, I played... Obviously, like, we've all been playing games, right? So, Mario Maker came out, the Fire Emblem Three Houses, the Astral Chain, now Link's Awakening. Luigi's Mansion 3 is only... It's a few weeks away. Maybe I could pick up Dragon Quest XI's. Maybe we'll have time to get into that before Luigi's Mansion 3. Maybe. I'll have to really think about what other game I'll play in between Link's Awakening and Luigi's Mansion 3. It might not make it... Alright. A couple games I should play. I should go back and play other games I haven't, like Hollow Knight, for example, or Undertale. Those are two games I could play that I have not played before I get Luigi's Mansion 3. That's a good idea. It's also I'll save money. I don't have to spend $60 to play those. I also should go back and finish Bayonetta, and you should also go back and finish God of War. And I should also go back and finish Dark Souls. I haven't finished any of these games on my Switch. And I technically could also play Skyrim on my Switch as well. There's just way... I don't have time. I don't have time for all these amazing games. Huh. Child Next, you're saying, you think it's just a religious thing like in Zelda, where people who are religious in the games are vegetarians? You just beat the game... You just beat Undertale, Child Nexus? Yeah, you're kind of hyping me up more for it. I've been really thinking about getting into Undertale. So, I'll probably get into it once I finish Link's Awakening. Yeah. Especially, hopefully if it's still on sale, I think I'll definitely go for it. So, I think that's what's going to happen. But, you know, I think we're at the end of the discussion, guys, so don't have to drag it on forever. I guess I'll give you guys a moment. If there's any sort of questions you want to ask me, by all means, go ahead and ask me. I'll ask a couple more, but we're gonna end this within a couple minutes. Shadow Next, you're saying I should stream Undertale. So, ooh, that's okay. So I'll get to your point, Recessive Gamer. Streaming Undertale. So I might at least stream it one time if I play it. So I'll consider that. What I'm thinking about doing, because it's just me being like, you know, because obviously I want the channel to become kind of part of like my full-time career. And whenever I stream, it doesn't really like grow the channel. And obviously I play games, right? But sometimes it's hard to play the games on streaming because I have to be worried about the stream. I can't just like jump onto the game, you know, especially if like I haven't showered or my room is a mess, things like that. And I don't really like sitting in the chair. Like I would prefer to just like lay in the bed and play. So like oftentimes that's why I don't stream. Not to mention, like I don't want to mess with like if I stream all the time, I don't want to annoy people by always streaming and people ignore like the videos, because the videos I work hours and hours and hours on. I want people to focus on that. But I am trying to stream at least like maybe once a week now, right, or close to that. So I could definitely see myself streaming Undertale at least once or twice. I still am planning on doing a stream where I try and finish Dark Souls. I'm not sure if I'll stream Link's Awakening again. I might stream it one more time, maybe, before I beat it. We'll see. But definitely, I'll try and stream Undertale. I think that could definitely happen. But Recessive Gamer, you asked, rate Mario games next time. Next time we have time, we'll do it. Because, like, for example, like, this time, I feel like news-wise, there wasn't as much to talk about. So that's why I thought it would be a good idea to rank the Zelda games this time around, to have, like, an interesting topic in place of news. So next time there's, like, a lack of news, which could very well be next week. We could do a Mario games rating. I think that could happen. Mastermind, you said, I did ask if Breath of the Wild 2 will have some iteration of that one game, Ico. So I didn't play Ico. So I can't really speak to that. I have heard of Ico. Let me just Google it real quick just so I can get it in my head which game this is. It was on PlayStation, right? When I Google Ico, it's like the game doesn't even come up. Like, there it is. This is an old game, isn't it? Ico for PS2. I guess there was like a remaster or a remake at some point. Oh yeah, I remember this to some extent. Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah, I see how it could be somewhat related to Zelda in terms of, like, you know, there's inspiration from that. Hard to say. I don't, again, I don't know enough about Ico to say Breath of the Wild 2 will have inspiration from that game. But why did you ask that to begin with? There's something about it that you think it could have? Oh, because the girl. Because I'm just looking at some pictures now. I see what you mean. I would have to go watch some gameplay of it. But one sort of example that I'll probably bring up in my video is God of War. How the boy and Kratos work together as the game goes on. The boy's powers grow, and he's never a nuisance for you. You never feel like you have to protect him. I feel like if they make Breath of the Wild 2 an entire escort mission, that's annoying. I never really super like escort missions in games, like you have to just protect the character. It's kind of irritating, actually. But if it's more like Zelda is a companion who helps you in battle and adventuring and platforming, that's cool. And even if she's not a good fighter, if she just knows to keep her distance, that's fine. And maybe there could be a couple occasions where you do have to go save her or retrieve her or escort her during certain small moments because a story beat, it forces an interaction like that. If it happens selectively and minimally and it's done in an interesting way, I'll be okay with some escorting, but for most of the game, I want her to be an asset that you can trust, that you can rely on to go accomplish more in the game. And I think the way it's handled in God of War is it's kind of more along the lines of how I would like to see it in Breath of the Wild 2. Let me see here. Shadownex is like, my thing is that Hylian religion is very prevalent in Skyward Sword through the ancient cistern, which would be really cool if we got to see the ancient cistern in Breath of the Wild 2. Maybe we could get more information about that, because I really would love it if they were to go back to some of the ancient dungeons throughout Zelda history in Breath of the Wild 2. Computer Robots added me, never quit your main job for YouTube because YouTube will screw you over eventually. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but what I will agree with is that you need to make sure you have a stable income. So like, you know, you got to get to a point where you can rely on some things, and you should diversify your income. So like, for example, even when I'm a full-time content creator, what I should probably make sure of is that it's not just from ad revenue that I'm supported, right? Like, obviously I'm doing the merchandise, right? Maybe I keep saying I'm gonna do it. I keep honestly like procrastinating on it. But the podcast, I should be distributing it to other platforms, so that could become a source of revenue as well. Things along those lines could help to support the channel. But I think if you are just follow the community guidelines, you shouldn't really run into issues on YouTube. But obviously another thing is you should just kind of make sure you have money saved as well. That's important. I have seen other content creators just say that they didn't do anything wrong and then they get in trouble with YouTube. But what I found is that oftentimes those content creators that say that, they have a history of doing something wrong. And when they did something that wasn't necessarily wrong, but it was a little edgy, then they kind of get in trouble for that. And I'm not saying that's okay, but I think oftentimes when you see these content creators really like get the shaft on YouTube, it's because they have a history of not following the community guidelines. Like there was this this is not for you, just for Twitch. There was this Twitch streamer of a girl. She doesn't do anything illegal. She does art and cosplays while she streams doing her art. I forget the name of her, but she got in trouble and she got banned for like 2 days because she was wearing a Chun-Li outfit. Some of you may know who I'm referring to. And she got banned because her Chun-Li outfit, you could kind of see like high up her thigh. And I agree, that's not really ban-worthy because you could wear something like that in real life. Like, you wouldn't get in trouble for like indecent exposure. So personally, I don't think that's okay. But I went and looked through her channel, her Twitch and her Twitter, and I saw that she has a history of like doing things that are even more risque than that. So I see why Twitch did it. I think they did it because of the history behind it, not so much that one incident. So the point I'm trying to make here, I'm not saying that what they did was okay, because it wasn't. It's just that as someone who wants to eventually make this my full-time job, as long as I maintain professionalism and I follow community guidelines consistently, I'll probably be fine. Like, there are some YouTubers like that do this for years and have had no issues. The reason why is because they maintain professionalism and never really swayed from that, right? And a great example of someone who strayed away from that is Pro Jared. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, even if Pro Jared didn't do anything illegal, he definitely did some things that were not professional, and he paid the price for it. Like, that's just, you know, like, that'll never happen. That's just, what he did was, I think, was kind of crazy, but, you know. Shadow of Nexus. It's also in Breath of the Wild too, that religious rituals and stuff, I just feel like because of that, Zelda could have vowed to be a vegetarian. Hey man, if you got a gut feeling, go with it. I just want more evidence. But maybe. It's not impossible. You know, Mastermind is another game I need to play. I never got to play Bioshock Infinite. I played the original, not entirely, just like a little bit of it, so I understand Bioshock. But I guess my point is that I just don't understand exactly how it could be related. Definitely God of War is a game that I'm going to go to with my examples. I'll show some footage of it when I make the video. Computer Royalty added me, please stream the new Mario and Sonic Olympics games when it comes out, and do streaming games, any games, if for fun rather than do it for a career. Like I said, I mean, when I stream, I know it's not going to do it. I just do it for fun when I do stream. So, you know. Yeah, I mean, I do this because I enjoy it, not for the money. Because if I did it for the money, I would have stopped a long time ago. Okay, a very long time ago. There's anyone who does this for, you can't do this for the money. It makes zero sense. You don't, even when you become famous, you're not rich. Like you maybe can live well, but you're not gonna get rich on YouTube unless you get extremely viral, and that's basically like winning the lottery. So like, I'm just saying, like, you don't do this for money. No. Cake Man, hey Andres, I'm back. Weather knocked me out, my internet, but it looks like you're yeah, I am wrapping up, man. I'm just kind of doing some chatting with you guys before I call it a night. But you know, like Nintendo. Obviously, we're doing it for years, so it's fun. It's always fun. I really would like to go and play Bioshock Infinite, though. I remember when that game came out, it looked so freaking dope. I just never got around to playing it. Mainly because at the time, especially at the time, I only played on a Nintendo system, so it wasn't really an option for me. Now, you know, I have a pretty decent PC, I have a PS4. I could play Bioshock Infinite if I wanted to. So maybe that's the game I could play before Luigi's Mansion 3. That and Undertale. Shadow of Nexus, that's some high praise. Bioshock Infinite is probably one of your favorite games ever. Okay, that's something to consider. You know, one thing that Bioshock reminds me of, when the first one came out around the same time as Metroid Prime 3. They were both those games got a lot of comparisons, and I remember Bioshock selling a lot better than Metroid Prime 3. And as a fanboy, I was like, damn, that's not right. Metroid Prime 3 got shafted. But, you know, kind of, as a Metroid Prime fan, I probably should have tried out Bioshock, because the gameplay's similar, right? So maybe, you know, me going back and playing Bioshock Infinite, I'll probably enjoy it that much more. Did it? So you're saying Bioshock Infinite reminds you of Skyward Sword. That's another interesting game to compare it to. That would be really interesting to see. Cake Man, you're saying System Shock 3 trailer came out recently. That is not something I know about. So, like, basically, like, when it comes to Nintendo stuff, I know a lot, but once we start going beyond Nintendo stuff, that's where my knowledge gets pretty shaky, which is why I don't really talk about it too much. Interesting. System Shock. It definitely looks nuts from me just kind of looking at the preview footage. Wow. Alright, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it a night now. But, my dog's barking. That's cool. But anyways, everyone, thank you for coming by. Thanks for sticking around. And, yeah, there's a lot of content coming out this week, so get ready. It's gonna be a good time. Alright. See you guys. Take care.